Gotta take a little sip, a sippy sip. Welcome. It's 7 o'clock nationwide here on the East Coast of New Jersey, East Coast of America here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. All cash, all cousins, that's who we are, AC. Welcome to the new norm 2.0 with your boy Mo Delgado. It is 7 o'clock. Do you know where your people are? It is 7:02. Have you seen your graduates today? Congratulations to everyone. All the family members who've enjoyed seeing their loved ones cross the threshold from one level of education, possibly into the next level of education. Congratulations to you. During the pandemic, it was extremely hard for some family members to stay focused for their children, to be left on their own at times to try to figure it out. Technology, using Zoom and other formats to get your education through. It is extremely important that we all understand our responsibilities and to applaud those who did what we had to do. Our children are extremely important. And the fact that our children had to face something that we haven't faced in our time frame, some of the issues that they did, of course, when the pandemic came about, who did what we had to do. Our children extremely. I'm trying to do this without causing a stir. Folks, y'all know how to do. What I have to do is always set it up so everything is intact and nothing's in the way. I see you. Oh, Jai, you on? What's up, man? I hope you're having fun. Anyway, so let me see if I can get it in. I've got Facebook and everybody's good there. Let me make sure it's public because they try to get funky, and always, as I request it to be public, Facebook always places it on friends and only friends of my friends, and that always gets in the way. Now, home base YouTube. Let's see what's the problem. What's the problem here? Anyway, I hope that all of y'all are celebrating with your family members because it's extremely important that we continue to encourage them in their endeavors because they are, in essence, going to take care of this world for us, man. For those of us who are in my age bracket, I'm 51, and we have to be okay. Popping up last messages here and there. Anyway, we have to at times pay attention to the endeavors of our kids because it's extremely important to understand that these kids going out now, and I say kids respectively, although they're 18 years old, and you can't tell them they're not kids. These days, you can't tell them shit. But realistically speaking, they are young adults. And these young people have now pushed into an atmosphere that they've never understood before. Let's be honest. A lot of the children that we have today have been provided quite a lot more than people in my age bracket and people before us have ever enjoyed. Technology access, being able to research information almost instantly. You talk to them about encyclopedia, and they're like, "What encyclopedia? What? Who? Wasn't that a show? Encyclopedia Jones? Wasn't that a show? It was a old TV show somewhere else." So they're really not familiar with encyclopedias, oddly enough. So we are in the presence now of technology, and our youth and what they're doing hopefully is going to take this technology and take it to the next level because it's extremely important that we pay attention to this level and things how they are. So again, I'm Mo Delgado. This is the new norm 2.0, and I hope everyone's well. This is Friday evening, our Friday chats, and we talk about different things. But first, let me talk a little bit about some highlights of the week. As you just recently saw, something that's really troubling after some time of a stalemate or some sort of peace accord in Israel. Israel started dropping bombs in the Gaza, all based off of some arson that was alleged to have happened from Hamas. But that truce that they had diminished quite quickly. Our president, Uncle Joe, went over to the G7 and in that area talked and met with Putin. Putin said he's a sharp tack, definitely not what he was accustomed to as far as 45. But Uncle Joe don't play games, so he went out and did what he had to do with G7. Hopefully, he'll come back with a full packet of information to explore the future in a positive format. Hopefully, we'll join the Geneva Accord, of course, to make sure that our climate is being handled accordingly. We can stop leaving such of a carbon imprint moving forward. You noticed the automobile industry is starting now to put mandates upon itself to suggest that within 5 years, every vehicle that'll be launched out of their factories will be green energy. They will either be totally electric or a hybrid, electric and hydrogen, with very little need for carbon fuels. Let's see how this is going to turn about, because if you're not really aware, the electric batteries themselves need certain types of minerals, and they have to be mined, and that imprint, for it to be mined, leaves a huge hole in the earth. So just like it was huge holes and gaping holes left for oil, they're probably not as intrusive, but just as damaging and potentially harmful as the holes left for the mining for the substance needed for these batteries. I think it's either cadmium, iridium, I can't recall exactly the type of mineral or the substance itself that is needed for these batteries. So, I guess it's one hand washing the other, or it depends on how you look at it, depends on which evil you want to choose. Either which way, that's a huge mandate that the automobile automobile industry have chosen to put upon themselves. So we'll see how it goes. I've seen recently some of the new vehicles that are going to be launching, like the Lyric and Ioniq, the EIS something, the Toyota ZX, all these alphabets and alphanumeric digits to identify the vehicles. Whatever it is ultimately, as long as they're safe, as long as they provide us the ability to go back and forth, then we welcome to it. New is good sometimes for some things, but whatever it is, just play safe. Moving forward, if you're paying attention to news, the federal government has agreed, almost in a unanimous way, to support Juneteenth as a national holiday. For those of you who may not be aware of what Juneteenth is, it's a celebration. It's called Freedom Day. It's a celebration that took place, a commemorative day, because I think it was 1865. In Galveston, Texas, the African slaves that were still enslaved at that point in time had not known that 2 years prior, the Emancipation Proclamation had, in essence, freed them from their binds of slavery. 2 years later is when they finally found out. And so that was the end. It was June 19th, 1865, if I recall that correctly. I'm going to try to research to make sure that the date is proper, because that date seems to be the date for the Spanish flu also. So let me see if I can do a quick search on it. But Juneteenth is a day of commemoration for the abolishment, or the last day of slavery. And 1865, I was right. June 19th, 1865. It's the last day that commemorates the Confederacy in Galveston, Texas, had still slaves. And it is said that, was it intentional that the Confederacy, who was fighting to keep slavery, withheld the information to the plantation owners, or withheld the information to their slaves, and just tried to control as much information possible to continue having slaves because of the impact that slavery was. Slavery, in essence, had created generational wealth through the free labor that it provided for all the slave owners, all the plantations that either had cotton, Cotton was major. Rice was another. If I'm not mistaken, it's also palm sugar and other factions of labor that was necessary to cultivate products from the South that created wealth in a major portion of the South. So those greedy slave owners kept this information from the slaves and tried to keep them enslaved for another 2 years. Some say it was because they wanted to try to stretch out 2 more seasons so they can try to recoup their potential loss. And then secondly, again, they say that the person who was supposed to deliver this information was murdered on the way. We don't know it to be true, but we know one thing for certain. June 19th, 1865, final word went out. And it was a mass celebration because people who thought they were still enslaved got their freedom. Did you know that the slave owners who suffered a loss, quote unquote loss, got together and sued federal government and got compensated for the expected loss of slavery? They were paid for the loss that they incurred due to this freedom. Isn't that a blip? But maybe that's just information that's not shared or what have you. But that is the essence of what Juneteenth is. It's Freedom Day. So tomorrow is the official Juneteenth. It's the 19th. And we hope that you celebrate with everyone our new holiday, national holiday. And let it not be just solely a day of freedom and celebration of freedom, but let us reflect on the sacrifices and the hardships that had to be had for this day to finally be here. All the things that are still pending. Case in point, right now, we're still fighting for the Voting Rights Act, still being attacked in the federal government. There's still a lot of discussion now about how to hold or withhold the privilege of voting to Americans today. And it seems to be primarily minority Americans, or in areas that are more urban or questionably minority. So that still continues. The Voting Rights Act is being contested. Another thing that's also being contested right now is that shortly after the much anticipated and well accepted and celebrated and I'm trying to find the proper word for this. We all agreed that it was just thing to do to have the anti-bigotry or anti-hatred bill towards Asians passed unanimously in Congress and in federal government, and for it to be a federal law. It's a just law. We definitely all agree that no one should be treated that way. But in saying that, we're still people of color. Black people are still waiting for the day in court when they get the same type of prevention, the same type of protection, to say that anti-hate against people of color or black people, it's considered hate law, and you have to face the full arms of justice the way you do if it was an Asian person. So that's still in contention. Lastly, another thing that is in contention right now, which is something that's extremely powerful, I want you to consider it. It's called critical race theory. Critical race theory is a concept, and I want to make sure I get it properly. So let me research this real quick and share with you the exact wording so you can understand what it is. We talk about it. Critical race theory is under attack. And in Education Week, the website is considered Education Week. It says, why is critical race theory and why is it under attack? Critical race theory is a way of understanding how American racism has shaped public policy or a divisive discourse that pits people of color against white people. Liberals and conservatives are in sharp disagreement. The topic has exploded in public arena this spring, especially K through 12, where education is being taught, where numerous state legislators are debating bills seeking to ban its use in the classroom. In truth, the divides are not nearly as neat as they may seem. The events of the last decade have decreased public awareness about things like housing segregation, the impacts of criminal justice policy in the 1990s, and the legacy of enslavement on Black Americans, but there is much less consensus on what the government's role should be in righting these past wrongs. So that's the discussion. Critical race theory is a very important tactic to inform our children of the hardships that being experienced by people of color, or Black people specifically, and how racism plays in the role of public policy and its impacts on all Americans. So all this is being contested. Let me say this. We have some people who are in positions of power and expectation, who are saying the concept of the critical race theory are red herrings to take us away from the emphasis of the Juneteenth national holiday. And I say to you, it's shameful how you're trying to encompass all things under one flag, as if we don't have multiple fights to be had, as if all these things don't deserve its equal efforts. All these things impact equally our entire community, all communities, not just African American or Black communities, all our communities, because all history impacts all Americans, whether you want to know it or not. But like it said, if you don't know your history, you're bound to relive it. So let's understand where we stand and keep pushing forward for those things that are rightfully so, needed in American education and in policy, so that all Americans feel the full gamut of the power and privileges of our Constitution, to make sure that all people have the privilege and rights to pursue their happiness and a safe place to live, and the rights to make a means for them to provide for their families. So keep that in mind as we celebrate Juneteenth, that we have yet won in this whole challenge versus white supremacy and racism. We still have a lot of challenges to be had. We're still in the fight on many realms. In Pennsylvania, there's legislation trying to withhold voting abilities. In Georgia, the same type of effort trying to block voters from getting a chance to vote. They're minimizing all these details by saying that you can't do certain things outside of the voting block, while stripping the sources or the amount of places that you can vote, or the time wherewith it's accessible to vote within. They're trying to minimize drop boxes. They're trying to make illegal mail-in ballots. There's so many frustrating points that are being attacked at right now from the national standpoint at predominantly Republican or conservative arenas all of our nation. And we have to pay attention to those battles, because America is known to work in a domino effect type of momentum. Once one thing affects one state, it trickles over to the adjoining states, and then it moves and picks up potential on a national table. And that agenda is necessary, that we all pay attention to all things that impact and affect all of us. It's extremely important that we move forward. We've gotten some accomplishments because of the hard work that was happened in the past, but we still have so much work to do. So for those of you just tapping in, it's 20 after 7. It is the New Norm 2.0 with your boy Mo Delgado, me, aka the sexiest man in this chair right now. That's something that cannot be contested, because I know I am the sexiest man in this chair right now. So as we move forward, I hope everyone's week was wonderful. I want to touch on a few things that recently happened. The unfortunate truth is we have too many mothers that are mourning the loss of their children in my community, as well as many communities across the nation. And let's please keep them in our thoughts and prayers, check in on them. No mother should be burying their children no matter what. And some of the mourning process takes way longer than we at times give room for. So whatever room they need, give them the space, but give them the support, because if it wasn't for mothers, we wouldn't be around. I send my condolences and my prayers to all the families who have suffered a loss in my immediate area here in Atlantic City, and the adjoining communities and areas around South Jersey, New Jersey, United States, and the world around. My heart is with you all, and every piece that we lose is a one piece less of the fabric that we all are part of across this globe. So let's be more considerate. Let's work towards finding solutions, not just pointing fingers. Something that was recently seen amidst of all this chaos and confusion going on is finger pointing. It's an American thing, or shall I say it's a human thing sometimes to point fingers. But the truth of the matter is every time you point a finger, you have one pointing to the next person, but you have three pointing back at you. So let's think about our placement or what part we play in the atmosphere that's created this chaos, or this atmosphere that's allowed access to evil to come into our communities and implant itself in the hearts and minds of our young people. And let's play greater owners, take more ownership in the atmosphere and seeing what we can do to change for the better. There's always an underlying want, desire for money, especially for communities who have very little, if not none. They're looking for opportunities. And America is known so much for having roads that are laced with gold. This is the appearance of the past. Now, unfortunately, our roads seem to be laced with blood. And we all have to play a part in making it better. We need to do what we can in our hearts first to change away from the animus that we have inside for one another, that mistreatment that we seem to easily throw away around to people, peers, family members, people on the streets just because. Does it make you feel good to treat people unfairly? Does it make you feel powerful to treat people like they're less than you are, as if they don't deserve to be acknowledged, to be alive the way you are? If you yourself need to have that powerful feeling, then I'm going to pray for you even more. I think you need some help, because all of us deserve to be acknowledged as human beings. All of us look for love. All of us need to feel like we're one with all of us around. We have a need to be social. We have a need to be amongst others that love us. Some of us have forgotten what it is to love without obligation, love without taint. Some of us don't even know how to spell love. We've been spelling love with emojis for so long that we forgot that LOVE spells love. So whatever we can do to play a better part and a bigger part in the lives of one another, to get in there and dissect each other's soul, to take apart and rebuild people with more love and understanding, let's do it. I think we need to. I think it's way past time. I think we're manifesting too much evil and hatred within ourselves that it's eating us up. It's tearing us up. And in doing that, allowing that to happen, it trickles over into the people who don't deserve it at all. I'm not going to say that there's not people out there who are just point blank evil as hell and deserve to get all the dirt that they have given into the world, let it all come back in karma. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. It is. You got some foul ass individuals, regardless of what color, creed, and who they come from, how they pray, and who they love. It's just evil. Our only drive is to get from others what they can, regardless of what risk and what sacrifices have to be made and who gets sacrificed. Those are the evils that live amongst us. There's sometimes evil that we can call blood relatives. Those are evils that we can call sometimes our neighbors. That's the evil that sometimes we can call our elected officials. But you have to put a check on all those people who are evil and do what you can to take them out of the strong presence they have in our lives and put them in their proper place. If we unify as a community, as a greater community, we have more power to make changes the way we need to. But first off, I think every one of us have a power and authority to change in our hearts what hold us and bind us towards what hurts. We have to find some solutions to let go of the pain. We have to find the solutions to learn to love one another more for the essence of who we are, not what we used to be. For the essence of a person, the characteristics and charisma that we portray and hold and share with others, not the facade that we love to pamper just to get the kudos and the affection of others and their greedy, stinking, nasty eyes. It's not important what turns them on. It's what lights inside you, that beacon of light that you have in your heart that illuminates the world. That's what's important. It doesn't matter who you turn on and how you get turned on by anybody else. That's something for you and solely for you to understand. But for the world to have, we need more light keepers. We need more people out here to shine their wonderful, brilliant lights within themselves, filled with the God that created them, and to share all the love and compassion they can with all of us around. Whether it's just with a handshake, a hi, a hello, or sometimes just in their presence alone can fill the room with light. That's what we need more of. We need more support for our children that seem to be at times alone on their own, trying to find and navigate a path through life that they're not ready to handle. Let's do what we can to be by their sides, motivate them, be behind them, give them encouraged words, chastise them if you need to when it comes to making bad decisions. Bad choices can affect us all. And sometimes we allow these young people to make bad choices continuously over and over again because we think we're not supposed to look at one another and treat one another like our own. I was raised in a community that was always taught that one child in your community, it's the same child for all our communities. In other words, we're all one tribe. Regardless of what family you represent, if you're part of the community, we're supposed to look out for one another and our children. So if I did something wrong on one side of the block, Mr. Jones would whoop my ass. I'd move over to Miss Davis. Miss Davis whooped my ass. Senorita Rodriguez would come out and whip me one time, whatever it was. If I besmirched the honor of the community, if I even tainted the honor of my family or disrespected myself in any such way, that's the kind of stuff that I had to look forward to until I got home. And in sad eyes, to look at the eyes of my mother looking down, how disappointed I may have made her feel. That's where I was raised. In our communities today, we're so worried about someone calling the police, someone becoming arguably violent and pulling out a weapon. We try to defend the negative so badly because we're overcompensating for our own shortcomings. We try to make up unrealistic truths about our children when we know our children are bad as hell. Some of them. But realistically speaking, those same bad children are the ones that I claim as my own too. So your bad children are my bad children. And we have to do better. We have to do better. And it's a we. It's not just a you thing. It's a we thing. Because we directly and indirectly impact one another all the time. You'd be amazed what a simple raise of the hand and a nod of the head and hi can do for a person who's in their darkest presence. You'd be amazed if just speaking to a person, asking them how they are with sincerity can do to brighten up their day. You'd be amazed that the few seconds that you spend with your elders, asking them how they feel, telling them something nostalgic and reminding them some wonderful little gem of humor or wisdom that they shared would do for them. Do what you can. Life is not as long as it used to be, it seems, but it's only filled with what we put in. So because all of you are now, even more so, in need, I guess, for some salvation, some solutions through all this negativity and chaos that we're facing all together, I still believe the same thing. All the answers are within us. It's just sometimes we're so in denial and wrapped up in everybody else's bullshit that we don't want to look truly and look honestly and earnestly within ourselves to find those solutions that are smack dab in our face. It's not going to require millions of dollars. It's not going to require 25 out of 24 hours. It's not going to require you to give blood or a lung. It's just going to require you to take a little step further than you're comfortable with. It's going to take you just a few more words than you want to crack your mouth open to say. It's going to require you to become uncomfortable. And then within that growth, more people will do the same, and possibly, quite possibly, will be that much better as a community. Excuse me. Today, I'm celebrating a Friday. I'm celebrating for all those that have graduated. I'm celebrating with all my family members that are alive still today. I'm paying homage to all those that have passed away, the ancestors that are no longer with us, who left us with so many good memories. I am celebrating for the moment, being able in the presence of such iconic people like Mr. Robbie, 97 years old, such a handsome, dapper dude, still showing and shining what kind of honorable man he is and what his era brought to us in our community. And I pay homage to him, all the other elders that are in my community I still hold dear in my heart, even some of the elders that are just plain old assholes. I still respect you and appreciate you for whatever you've done to help us get along, whether it's by example or as an example of what not to do. I still pay homage to you. So, taking a little sip. But I hope everything is going well for all my family members out here. Let me get this information and I will send it to you. My brethren, Brother Adrian is about to come on in a second. Tie in. I'm sending you the link. Let me know if it works. If it doesn't, I'll send it to your, matter of fact, I'll send it also through your email. By any chance, if you're looking to get on the show, matter of fact, let me put on the scroll on the bottom and you guys can see it. You want to come on tonight's broadcast, you're welcome to. Just let us know and share the link and you'll be able to connect with us. Let me get the invite. Copy the clipboard. Now let's go to email. I'm going to send it to Adrian. Whomever else wants to come on, please link up with us. It's extremely important that we stay connected because that's the way how we do. Adrian, here we go. Okay. So, some of the hot topics being discussed at right now. A lot of people are interested in what's going on with the potential fourth stimulus. At this moment in time, there is none. There's no remnants of it in the infrastructure bill that's being discussed. There's no remnants of it in the White House right now, even being considered. However, one thing that is being considered is the infrastructure bill. So that's extremely important that we continue because that's potentially billions of dollars that'll be allocated for problems like in our state, New Jersey. We have over 57 bridges that need to be attended to. That's a lot of bridges. So that's part of the infrastructure, some roads, and the docks that we have as far as water mitigation, things like this. So it helps out. So hopefully this bill will come out and the people who need it in our the different parts of the nation that need that infrastructure dollar, maybe it'll go out. And if I'm not mistaken, it's also some of it is part of the initiative to help with the rail system. We have an antiquated rail system. Someone is calling. I don't know how. Calling. Okay. Come on, Dad. You can't call. Dad, I'm sorry, but you can't call Facebook assuming to come on the show through Facebook. We don't work like that. It's got to come in through the StreamYard. Let me go back. So, moving forward, as again, we were talking about the potential for another, it's 80 representatives in the House of Representatives still support the concept of having another payout to the people of the nation because it's so necessary that we haven't yet fully recovered from the economic drop that we have because of the pandemic. Realistically speaking, we're still somewhat moving forward. We're at a small crawl, but in hopes that we'll catch up and our economy itself to start booming together. The nation really depends on the summer months. There's a lot more industry, a lot more tourism dollars, a lot more benefit to be had for that seasonal money. So I think the nation's representatives are waiting to find out the outcome, say August, possibly September, whether the economy itself is moving at a speed or with a momentum that's necessary to continue on itself without another need. However, the way things are going, another shot in the arm would not hurt whatsoever. I know myself, a couple dollars here and there could really help. I am blessed to be in a situation right now where I'm far from wealthy, but thank God I have food in the refrigerator. So That is the discussion right now as far as the United States government. Still waiting to see if more momentum takes place on the next stimulus check. So we will see. In the coming months, you'll see more discussion as far as that's concerned. The other discussions I've talked about prior to is the increase on interest in cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is a significant option for the economy itself and a lot of business. However, some of the dark sides of the cryptocurrency, as we've recognized recently, is some of the individuals that work in cyber crimes, some of the mischief that has taken place around the world with hijacking are done so because of payment through cryptocurrency. So as that still continues, and there's still a potential for um, crooks out here to do all kinds of foul stuff and looking for payment through cryptocurrency, that's still not going to get the full potential growth as it possibly could. So as we move forward in the nation, trying to find more security for it, you know that in doing so, there's going to be a want and need for the governments to have more control to be able to protect it. So it's always two sides to the sword. So let's see how it goes. Continue. So if you're into cryptocurrency, continue to be very smart in what you do. Don't just jump into it. Like some people seem to be going for the new cryptocurrency that was recently offered from Jeff Bezos, as he calls his Akita coins, some nonsense like that. And his offering, again, he seems to be like the Midas man. Every time he offers something, everybody wants to jump on it because they think they're going to make themselves wealthy, and he ends up becoming even more disgustingly wealthy. So that's the point to be heard. I now welcome onto the show our brother, our fellow board, show host. That's my co-host, my brother Adrian. How are you, Adrian?
It was going on, Mo. I'm just enjoying you talk about the crypto crooks.
Crazy,
Like the crypto crooks. Every single day, one of these people trying to hit me up wants me to approve them, crypto crooks. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is this: if everybody's on board there's no money there. Exactly. Because that well is already have been depleted. Bottom line, if a whole lot of people are in that avenue, there's no money there. They've already drained that avenue.
Hell yeah.
You got to get on when something is brand new and spanking hot,
Like, you notice how the steam has sort of dissipated by the PFTs? Remember how
I know, it's just a matter of time.
NFTs?
Yeah.
It was so much interest for a while. It was like, oh, this is it. You can make so much money off of just simple photos and stuff. What happened? No momentum. It's not even part of the market now.
Hey, Mo, somebody took the money and hit the left door. That's what it is,
Yeah. Hell yeah. They went to the Ukraine, was like, I'm going to find something else. It'll call it
exit stage right.
I remember those cartoons.
I remember it too. That's how I brought it up.
Yeah, exactly. But it's really interesting. It's stuff that we have to really pay attention because the way the economy is and how things are, we have to be really conscious of how it impacts us. Because cryptocurrency is definitely part of the future.
Yeah, it's part of the future, but it has to be properly regulated.
Hell yeah.
So that people won't get spanked left and right, and that's just the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. And to be regulated, you have to give other people access. People that you don't want. You don't want Big Brother in your business. You don't want them to know IRS.
They're going to know. They're going to know.
That's like the Wild West, how it was. Everybody wants to live in the Wild West until somebody pulls a gun on you. Okay.
Yeah.
Forgive me as I'm trying to get my...
It reminds me like the gold rush many years ago when it says, go west, young man, go west. And everybody went west, and then there was no more gold out there.
Not at all. It's the what was the Dutchman's gold? I think that's the one they're still looking for hundreds of years.
They're still panning over there for gold.
Still looking for opportunities. I don't know what it is. My dad, I don't know why he wants to open up a room to chat on Facebook while we're on the show right now. Dad, can't do it. Can't do it. We can't chat on Facebook and me be on the show. It just don't work like that.
He's ahead of the game. That's all it is.
He's still crushing it. He's still crushing it. He's still crushing it. So it's all good. But how was your week, bro?
It's beautiful, man. I'm telling you, lovely weather. It's really nice, man. You have to take advantage of your time above ground. Get out there, smell the roses, breathe some fresh air for a change, And congratulations to your son. I believe that's in order. And a few other 2021 graduates. Also like to say congratulations to Gina also. She posted online that she took the the Pfizer. I guess she took the Nestle plunge, huh?
Uh-huh. Oh, did she? I didn't get to see that.
Yeah,
She finally,
she's
okay.
supposed to take the Pfizer, yeah.
I know she said she had to do it anyway. So, but
Yeah,
it's all
she took it, yeah. That's basically what I read. I mean, when I read that post, it was early in the morning, so I could have been seeing things.
right. Right. I hear you. It's this is the time of success. Like there's so many kids. When I went to my son's graduation, I saw so many kids. It was 394 kids, and all I kept saying to myself, I said, it's really good to see a class like this during this present time because the pandemic made it so much harder now to focus for some kids because some kids needed that one-on-one attention that the pandemic afforded while you sat there and being able to concentrate, and they did and excel. They did very well. Others need that in class interaction to
Correct.
really spawn into learning a little bit more, and it was really hard for some kids to really adapt. I know
Hmm.
my son, he struggled a bit here and there, and there was definitely signs of struggling, but we tried to do facilitated what we could for him, and he was able to succeed at the very end. Like I was really
That's good. That's good.
thankful. Yeah, I was thankful for all the teachers and all the kids. It was really great seeing all the kids, and not just my son's high school, ACIT, but all the high schools in the area. I
Yeah,
congratulate all
exactly.
the parents.
Yeah, that's what I said. Congratulations to all of them. They really deserve it. You
Hmm.
know, I mean, when we were growing up, we never dealt with a pandemic and what it's like to actually learn over a computer. But
Hmm.
these kids have actually learned a lot, and maybe, like I said, that's the future.
Yeah, um, they definitely picked up a lot of the things that I know weren't necessarily in my toolbox. Toolbox. I mean, now with all the digital information, it
Yeah.
made them easily, go back and forth. Like I don't know how many times I'm arguing with my son about something and its trueness, and he's like already whipped out the whole information, dialogue, everything on his phone because of the way information is more
Yeah.
readily available. And I'm like, man, forget you. I'm still using encyclopedias. Forget
I
you.
was watching a few videos this week on flying cars, flying automobiles. So they actually, test driving. Toyota has one, and a few other companies are actually test driving flying vehicles.
Yeah, there's an Asian company that has successfully done one. They're
Yeah,
only big enough for one or two people at a time, but they look like Pintos, Pintos with big giant, wings on top. But it's like it makes sense. I mean, the way things are going right now, with so much density all over the place, especially urban areas, as far as roads, where else to go except for up? You got
well, you got two choices. You either go up or go down. Look at what Elon Musk did in Vegas. He has
oh
a tunnel
with the
that's
tunnel,
running straight through. So he went underground instead of going above.
yeah, with the tunnel.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to see more of the rail system because it shows, on the countries that are more advanced technology wise, who are more advanced and more to the present state, they have a really good rail system. Transportation will make it so much easier for goods and services to be rendered all throughout the nation, and for people to be able to travel more easily. Like I'd love to. I told my wife, I said because flying was an issue to her, because of the way the confined space, and COVID-19. I was like, well, let's see what we can take a train. We can go across the nation and get to see this wonderful nation that we lived in, and ride by it. But I looked at the time frame. I was like, that's a long ass time to be in a car, a cab
yeah.
car. You can walk with so much.
Those bullet trains made a hell of a lot of sense, and with the infrastructure bill that they attempted to pass, hopefully they'll be able to upgrade all of those old-fashioned trains that's polluting the air like crazy with a lot much more modern-day train system,
Right,
rail system in actuality.
right, right.
You
I'm,
know,
I'd love to see some of the bullet trains. The I know some of the discussion has to do with where the placement, because the way lakes are, these infrastructure dollars that are supposed to be talked about says that there's initiatives within those dollars to suggest more work on railways. I think it's a great system
yeah,
because, if I'm not mistaken, in Japan, the rail system also includes the internet system. Like they've attached their fiber optics to the pathways, so to make
exactly.
it more, it's less intrusive, and in the way things connected, it made more sense. I mean, vibration would be the only issue, but you can have some sort of connector or sequence filters to protect the line frequency type. But it makes sense to me. I'm like, shit, let's do it. Let's do it.
When you're on the bullet train and and you can barely feel any bumps and stuff, it's like riding on air because in actuality you are because it's magnetic levitation.
Yeah, maglev.
So yeah, exactly, maglev.
Yep.
So that would make a lot of sense, and you're actually able to, access the internet with the breeze,
Hmm.
because you're passing by so many different towers.
Yeah. Imagine if we did intercontinental and transatlantic travel, using a bullet train. That would be
Yes.
so fly. But that would be something too. I mean,
Yeah. Well, it's not impossible because I mean,
it
even
isn't.
like the internet service. A lot of people are not aware that a lot of overseas, like Europe and in the Caribbean and stuff, a lot of internet cables run underneath the ground, underneath the ocean. Yeah,
Yep.
that's lay those bad boys down.
Yep. So if they laid all these cables so everyone's connected worldwide, internationally, even for oil and gas and some other things like this, why not spread the tube and put a bullet train in it, right?
Yeah,
It's not that it's impossible. Plus, I
it's
mean,
good.
you have
You meant you could be it.
subterranean stations, aquatic stations are set up for different test labs, checking meteors, different gravitational pulls, the way the ocean plate tectonics are.
Yeah, the tectonic plate.
Existing. So with all that technology involved, it's not going to be too long before we have that, and
Now,
it'll be cool. It'll be cool.
give it time.
It'd be nice to be able to jump in a vehicle like a train, take a bullet train from New York to London and be in London in like 6 hours.
Well, they're working on the jet to do that because something is along the line of, the Concorde many years ago. Another one is coming back.
Yeah, the supersonic. Yep. And
Exactly.
crazy. I saw a report specifically on that. He says in the 70s, United States or the world aviation never got past a certain type of speed. They said once they got to that speed, which was
Sound.
to and actually surpassed by the Concorde. That was why they were so able to travel so quickly, and they were getting faster and faster. Like the arrival times became sooner and sooner. That the rest of the aviation industry, they say, put in a monkey wrench to stop it because they have gotten to a point where they weren't passing that threshold speed wise. It's not the technology because they have the technology go faster. It's not the degree or the potency of the fuel because we already had different type of nitro fuel and things like this that can do it. So it was something that was probably decided on for the industry itself. So it's a mechanism, I guess, that was not being talked about because it's part of the, I guess, the long list of costs that we got to pay for. So that's how they make that money, by delaying the flights. But we'll see, because if this next introduction of the Concorde comes in, I'm down. I loved that whole concept when it was first up. I would love the concept now. Jump on the red eye, the new Concorde from New York at Kennedy, end up in London in, 2.5 hours? Bet. Love it.
Well, here goes a little bit of trivia because you're familiar that the Concorde landed in Atlantic County some time ago. You remember that?
I remember there was a jet that came in that was being tested. I don't remember it to be the Concorde, but I do remember the jet.
Here it is. The longest runway on the East Coast is Pomona.
Yep.
And many years ago, the Concorde landed right here in Pomona.
I believe it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did.
I believe it.
So I mean, this is a perfect airport for so much business for Atlantic County and the entire areas. They need to utilize it a little better.
It sounds to me like an opportunity for the future. Because if you have in the regional area, this is the landing base for the Concorde. That means they have opportunities to jump on a Concorde, then possibly a train to get to New York, Philadelphia, Trenton, or wherever they
train will take you from Philly to down here in the blink of an eye.
Exactly.
No doubt about it. Then you have a Concorde landing right over here. You have water for cruise ships. I mean, this is like everything is here already. The infrastructure is here.
Exactly. The potential for it. All it takes is for us to get out the damn way. Politicians.
The initiative. That's what you need is the initiative.
Yep.
Because the infrastructure is definitely here.
It is. There was a lot of people who laid a major groundwork for it. Legislation was supposed to be set up. The FAA and AFAC, it's already prepared to be able to handle that degree. Matter of fact, it's actually the North Atlantic support system for all aviation in the northern quarter. That means from Boston all the way down to, I think it's Virginia, down over to Chicago. This whole entire area, NAFAC is the one who supports all their systems in the background. So if anything happens with all of their aerial systems, the contractors and everything to be able to navigate, NAFAC takes over. So they can control every flight coming in at all times. So that's massive.
Not only that, they test a lot of testing for the jets and a lot of the airplane safety is right here in Pomona.
Yeah. We just need to open up our doors and stop acting like a bunch of
You know what? On a, you know who?
petulant children as people in politics get in the way for advancement.
And
Because
the infrastructure is here because it's going to hold this place back. I mean, you have all of the hotel rooms and the whole 9 yards. There's no reason why it shouldn't be succeeding.
yeah, it can become. There would be so much more of an international growth pattern had if we allowed it to actually go. Because international travel, it's even now a big attraction, even more so now because of the pandemic. People who have traveled before got cabin fever. They want to go and they want to travel.
Yeah.
So you have an opportunity to go travel, but for some chance, if you have people, South Jersey, Philadelphia, you don't want to go to PHL to go travel someplace now, can come to South Jersey to have Seeking to go travel. I mean to ACY and travel to Ghana from here, and they could in half the time they would anywhere else. Why would they want to? I think
you got to waste your time to drive from here to Philly to catch a plane out of Philly when you could actually just have flights out of here and headed across to the West Coast or even down south, or even to the Bahamas many years ago.
Right.
Spirit was running those, the airline back then. Frontier was another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The piggybacks. I know Eastern. Remember Eastern Airlines back in the day?
And United.
Yeah.
All of them used to fly up out of here.
Yep. They used to have the piggyback flights, which is good. Like one company servicing to a certain direction, and you can piggyback into the other airline company to get to the furthest extent. At one time, it was, I guess, a regular thing to do sometimes to get to where you needed to, but it wasn't as much of a burden. It still wasn't much of a burden. I mean, I think it worked together so much better than now. Now you go into a flight, you miss it, you can't jump onto another flight. They're not willing to change your money or give you a pass to get on the flight. They get in the way. It's so much of a headache sometimes for some people. I don't know. I don't get to travel the way I'd like to, but I hear a lot of complaints.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop people. People want to travel. But
cabin fever and money fever too.
Yeah, true. Bullet trains and all that stuff would definitely make it easier for all of us to travel. But listen, you had mentioned Vegas. How are you people out there in Vegas? How are Alan and the rest of them in Vegas?
Scorching hot. They have like a unbelievable heat wave hitting out west.
Oh my God! I saw some
unfreaking believable. In Utah, the governor of Utah is praying. He's on television telling everybody to pray for rain. The temperature out in Vegas is 115 degrees.
And this is not just today. It's like a consistent temperature gauge between 107 to where it is peaked at
109. Dude, you know what I'm saying? You take an egg, you throw it in the car, you have a scrambled egg.
And the kind of heat that they're having,
because
there's no water, it's even more intense.
Yeah.
There's no humidity.
There's no humidity. Correct. It's just dry heat.
This is pure microwave oven type heat.
It's cooking with Crisco.
Oh my God, there is no such thing. No air conditioners over there crying. Oh my God.
That's when you make a lot of money being in air conditioning, cooling, and heating.
HVAC.
When you make the money. That's money there.
Oh my God. I can only imagine. And from the scope of the heat wave, I saw for the majority of Nevada, New Mexico, I saw Oklahoma, Utah, up to Texas, all the way over to Hawaii. And it seems to be spreading and it's heading in our direction. Luckily, there's a lot of water in between here and there. So we gotta get
to
to
a mountain range also, you know what I'm saying?
That helps. You know what I mean? All the Rocky Mountains where you normally see snow, now they have like water slides. It's not
No, but not only that, Mo, but get a load of this, because in Texas, the governor telling these people, because remember what happened during the wintertime with the power grid. Now they're experiencing the same thing this time on the summer level with the same damn power grid.
Oh my God.
And the governor is telling everyone to keep your temperature for air conditioning system on 78.
Like 78 is hot as hell.
It's 78 degrees.
That's supposed to be cool. You know, so imagine that stuff. It's crazy.
You might as well go and breathe, inhale, exhale outside. 78. You for real?
78 on a regular basis. Imagine that in terms of going to sleep, waking up
cool.
wet. But it's you know what, it's a major concern because a lot of people can't deal with heat. You got some people who have naturally, like you have Native Americans that live on reserves and so on and so forth. They know how to deal with heat. You
Yeah,
got
the
people making
Mexicans, you know, they're used to the type of climate coming up from the Caribbean. You're used to heat. You know
right,
what I'm
and
saying?
you know what to do. I seen one time there was it was something I saw. I think it was National Geographic. And they were talking about Native Americans, how they survived. When they needed water, they would go over to a cactus, go to the root of a cactus, and you can find water at the base of the
Exactly.
cactus. You find the same thing in agave trees,
Correct.
pools of water, drinkable water, and the nutrients that you need for survival in these different areas. But I'm thinking about all the other people who are like migrating to these areas for the lush life and living better life. Yo, this is a whole new perspective for them. So I pray for everybody like that. Like all the people that came from here to go out there, yo, God bless you, protect you. Stay inside the house as much as you can.
But not only that, you know, for weather forecast, there's another system getting ready to hit like Tampa area, another storm, and all weekend it's been raining down in Florida for the past few days.
And now
It's avoiding, yeah,
the super cyclone, the hurricane that's heading in that direction, the moisture that is picking up, yo, it's gonna be some major twisters in the Bible Belt because you got the heat on one side and
yeah.
brusque air coming from the upper atmosphere to cause this
But when
hurricane.
that heat don't more, when that water gets heat up, that Atlantic basin, once
Yeah,
that water gets heat up, come the fall or whatever the case may be, you won't have hurricanes like crazy because they feed off of that tropical, nice, warm water, you know?
all I kept thinking to myself is all these videos I watched for properties and potentially moving to St. Petersburg, Florida, and that general area, Orlando, and I'm looking at this shit like, maybe I'll stay in Jersey for now. The way the hurricanes and all that other shit goes, that doesn't make it easy. And shout out to my sister and all my nephews and nieces that live out in St. Petersburg, Florida. God bless you and protect you while you're going through this stuff. But it's definitely an adjustment for a Jersey kid to go out into an area like that.
Yeah.
I can deal with heat. I love the ocean per se from a distance, but having to be concerned of Mother Nature's wrath.
Just so happen to be blessed up in Jersey, man, just because of the geographical location
Yeah.
of Jersey, where we're tucked in, but we're still on the waterway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and those guys, that's a panhandle. Everything comes straight across from the Gulf and it tears them up.
Hell yeah.
Like South Beach. Imagine going down vacation and then it rains your entire vacation while you're down in Florida.
Imagine New Orleans right now. New Orleans right now worrying about this cyclone coming in and all the tourism that they've had to suffer through the pandemic.
I know.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's like a major festival going on. Well, that was supposed to go on in New Orleans this past week. I can't remember if it's Essence Fest or somebody else. It was supposed to be some major jazz festival or something. And New Orleans was like really ripping and ready to go. We're ready. It's open. New Orleans is open. I guess you better have a boat because this water that's coming ain't too nice. They said within 24 hours time, it can say up to 6 feet of water. I was like, 6 feet? Damn, 24 hours time. That's a lot of water being moved. Not only from the breeze pushing water from the ocean in there, but the rainfall. It's a lot of water. A lot of water.
Yeah, this stuff for those major floods back during the Katrina time.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people still haven't recovered from that.
I know, like I said, I said it before. I still have remnants of PTSD because Superstorm Sandy, how it did to the city. What I saw with my own two eyes, what I was riding around in, it really scared the shit out of me. So I can only imagine. But
you respect the elements of the universe, huh?
Oh, it made me so humble and so appreciative at the same time. And I look at things a whole lot differently. You know what I mean? Infrastructure. I look at emergency evacuation systems. I look at MREs at Walmart. Like, I need to get a couple boxes. I look at electrical, ancillary or post electrical systems that come in for emergency services. I'm looking to put a lift kit on my truck, put some weight on it, just in case.
Forget about that. Try to see if we get a jet ski. As soon as the summer ends, see if we can invest in a jet ski to rent one. So I would like to rent a jet ski for the rest of the fall. And then get it for the rest of the fall. Exactly.
Oh, yeah. That definitely. Well, me and my son talked about it all the time. It says if we, get in the opportunities where we'd like to be, maybe we'll get a big giant truck, F-350 or something like that, or the big dualies on it with giant wheels, super winch, all the emergency supply systems that we need to, a major winch system in there, and possibly like you have either some off-road vehicles, some RVs, something in the back, maybe some jet skis or whatever it is. If you have to, save some
Like
lives,
for doomsday or something on the water.
whatever we need to keep people out. Because last time Superstorm Sandy came in, man, I was here in the city. I didn't leave while everyone was evacuated because I was scared to leave for all the people who couldn't. Like there was so many senior citizens that weren't leaving, and I couldn't. Didn't feel right to leave. So I was here on the island looking for spots where I can park temporarily to get on my computer and send information because you couldn't just go live at the time. At that time, it was so many different things. We weren't able to get live on Facebook. So there was other avenues that we were trying to use to make sure that people were informed. So trying to be that hub of information and access when people are hitting me up like, yo, please check on my grandmother. She's here. I'm knocking on the door, ma'am. Are you there? And, checking on them, delivering food to different people. It really put me in a different perspective, man.
Yeah.
So it's a shout out to all the men and women who are in recovery and emergency mode at all times, man.
Emergency management.
Definitely. So
speaking about that, Mo, because I was reading a newspaper recently online where they actually put 11 sirens in Atlantic City, whereas they were able to, notify the young kids when the curfew comes about to get off the street, things of that nature. But it's going to be used also for emergency management type situations, also during storms to warn people. And so I've heard they put 11 of them in. So that helps, sirens, telling you where to get information or whatever the case may be.
Well, Atlantic City has had sirens. We've had sirens for decades for emergency services, for air sirens, for air attacks. Since World War II, we've had sirens here in the city. NAFAC, the National Guard that's based right across the street from my home, they have air sirens throughout the entire city. We used them before. We had to upgrade some of the systems to be able to use them for curfew the first time. Now, some of the intent to have curfew is now in opposition. I don't know how helpful it is curfew-wise, but I know it's good to have a system like that anyway. Given climate change and the risks that we take and the risk things are going, it's extremely important for everyone to be on the same accord because we can't depend on information to being disseminated in time from reputable sources, other than us. We're as reputable as they have available right now. We don't have the team or the what do you call it? The meteorological van sitting outside doing all the searches and scans for everything. But we try to give everybody as valid and as timely information as possible when it comes to potential risks to life and how to protect yourselves. But the intention to have this alarm system placed up, a lot of discussion right now. It's used in a political format to say, it's trying to combat crime. I have yet to hear a siren get in the way of a bullet, and the way bullets are flying during daytime hours, it ain't going to happen. That siren is not going to help later on in the early evening when people are shooting each other in broad daylight, early morning hour.
You see that situation in New York today, where that guy was on the ground and he had two kids, and this guy was trying to.
That was horrible. Him running, I'm trying to shoot the kid with the red jacket, and the kid
exactly.
Kids inside. It was horrible, man. And that happens too damn often. These streets, to be honest, America are a bunch of punks because of what we rely on as far as violence on one another. We don't even have it as bad as some nations around the world, and close to being as bad. But yet we resort to guns.
Well, everybody's going to want the right to bear arms with the Second Amendment. It's part of the fabric of America.
Right.
So as long as you have guns, you're going to have a lot of gun violence because a lot of these guns may be stolen or whatever the case may be, borrowed, shadow, guns, whatever the case may be, ghost guns. They start making them on 3D printers.
Very true. Oh, yeah. Yep. Porcelain and stuff like that. So they can't be detected with metal detectors. Yeah.
Yeah. Ghost guns. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Before we continue, let me big shout out to Renee Brown. She jumped on a little while ago. She said hello. Yeah. Renee, our thoughts and prayers go to you and your family as your family is adjusting and your son is going through treatments here and there. We want to make sure he recovers 100%, 120% to where he was, if not better. So, y'all stay in our hearts. But moving forward, like you were saying before, the way things are going right now, it's guns are so accessible. Just not even that. What about in Portland? No, matter of fact, I'm not even going to talk about Portland just yet because that was crazy. But the drive-by shootout that took place, I want to say Phoenix, Arizona. One guy started shooting. He apparently shot 12 people, killed one person. He goes from one location to the next, and it's a fairly younger guy, and they're trying to find out. He looks crazy as hell, but they're trying to find out why is he shooting people. And he apparently starts shooting one person on one side and ends up killing one person, and he continues going from spot to spot to
They
spot.
just don't care anymore. They just don't care anymore. That's just the bottom line.
They're idiots, man. They just, I don't know what it is, the thrill of destruction that these people have. Is it because
People
they're
want to recognize.
video games so damn much?
They want to live, for eternity with their name. So it's like, I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory. And that's what they're doing. We want to go out in a blaze of glory, shooting up with cops or shooting everybody down so they will remember their name.
Okay.
It's a sad situation. You're a failure in life, so now you want to do it in death.
Right. I see my dad's on YouTube. That's what it was. Let me set you up, Dad. I'm gonna give you the link through YouTube that you can get on. Yeah, they Renee, they did caught him earlier. We got a glimpse of what he looks like. He looks like a little scrawny guy, who killed all those people, and he's fairly young. He looks to be maybe in his 20s. But again, it's still one of those situations. First, how did he get a gun? Then secondly, what the hell motivated him to try to kill people the way he was? He looked like a coward. He was driving from location to location, just randomly shooting people. Dad, if you're still watching on YouTube, I just hit you in the link. Follow the link through there. Let me know if everything's okay. Oh, he was saying it was 110 in Sacramento, California. The
heat
temperature. Yeah, the heat. Yep, 110 Sacramento, where he's at. Yeah, that's hot. That's hot.
Yeah. No need to cook anything.
Yeah. Right now, you can put some bacon on your truck. Leave it outside for about 20 minutes.
Put the pan outside; it'll be done.
I can imagine so damn hot. Insects don't even want to be outside, so they're trying to find some cool spots. You good? Oh my God, I can imagine that much heat. I've been in some. I think the hottest I've ever been outside was, I remember Atlantic City gotten to, I think it was 101 one time.
I remember because I actually took a picture of that in my car. It was about 100. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we were threatened to have multiple days of 100. I think that was the hottest we got, 100. It was 98, 99.
Mm-hmm.
And I run a summer camp every year. And that year, what I did is I found some fabrics that were being sold that were perfect to be put on your clothes to keep you cool. So I got my son, myself, I got some extra fabrics to put on the kids. And then what we did is had water fights with buckets and kept them cool. I mean, we did everything creatively to keep them cool. So we managed through the heat. We stayed a little longer, started a little earlier, made sure that they were eating was conducive to the heat. Because some people just think you can eat and drink whatever you want to in the heat. Hell no.
No.
You want to stay away from milk products?
No.
You want to stay away from alcohol and milk products. So those things can do something awful to you. And some things that are oily, too oily, sometimes can run through you. Oh my God. Last thing you want to do is have the runs during the heat. It's horrible.
Even running from the heat.
Yeah. Horrible sensibility that you get from that, man. But heat is something that's crazy. But, sad to say is that we're seeing trends of it being hotter and hotter. I'm like, man, it's not cool. It's not cool at all. Literally and figuratively. It's not cool. We gotta do something about this global warming shit. And no matter what the conservatives want to say, well, it's not global warming. It's not okay. So what? That historically speaking, that the globe has gone through periods of time that's been equally hot, if not hotter, and a resurgence and stuff. But the difference is no human beings were around at that time. We're now here. We can't live through those cycles of time and shit the way nothing survived back then. It doesn't seem to be any kind of remnants of living organisms at that time when the earth had gotten through those cycles of heat. Nothing. You think we're going to be able to survive something like this? Sorry, there's not enough space in the saltwater flats on those caves in what's the name of it? The White Plains, the cave system where the U.S. government stores like 2 city loads of food and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, the bunkers. Yeah.
Man, there's not enough space for all of us to be there. It's not.
No.
But that's some crazy shit.
Yeah, a lot of us gonna have to take one for the team. That's a lot of us going to take one for the team. And when I say a lot of us, I mean a lot of us.
A lot. Who you telling? You imagine, you know what's sad? Imagine those regions that are so desolate, so out of touch, out of reach. Some of the islands off of the countries, like the some of the islands off of Brazil, some of the islands off of South America, off of Africa, the islands off of India. The one secluded area of India that no planes can go over, where every time a plane goes over, the indigenous people there shoot the plane down and kill everybody that's in it. So imagine those regions trying to deal with this kind of shit. I guess
they probably figured out a way of doing this. I mean, if you're living on an island, you're surrounded by water.
Yeah,
so if it gets really hot, what's the first thing? You head to the water.
It's chilling.
You know, just like in California, when it gets super hot, a lot of people are at the beach. You know, and in New Jersey, when it gets super hot, a lot of people from Philly heading down here. You know, like if there's a block party going on in the middle of the city or something.
But the question mark is still, you have a nice cooler breeze coming from the ocean, but if you're sitting on that sand, it may be 90 degrees outside, but that sand is 157 degrees.
So sometimes it gets so hot in that sand, it turns to glass.
Burn yourself. And they talked about that in this warning about the heat. The surface heat is dangerous too. Like people touching the doorknobs getting burnt. People walking on the sidewalk. If they're not having the proper foot gear, you can burn your feet. The secondary burns. I think I told you one time I went fishing in Longport and really clear water. It was so damn clear that I got a sunburn through the water on my damn clogs, my flip-flops under the water. I got sunburned through the water. So I'm like, shit.
Yeah, it magnifies the sun.
Yep.
It's like a magnifying glass.
Oh man, coming in the house. We got the man, King of Crush.
There you go.
Man, it's been a trip, man. I'm trying to get on. I'm trying to get on Facebook. I can't do it. I was like, oh, come on.
Welcome, Dan. How you feeling? You managing through the heat?
Yeah, I stay in the house.
Makes sense.
Simple concept.
I stay in the house. Yesterday, I had to go outside. I had got a tree on the side of the house, been banging all up the side of the house. I had a guy come out and give me an estimate, you know, and just out there, just that little bit of time, it was like, man, it's killing me. I had to come back and take a nap.
That's hot. That's hot. Well, it drains you and everything. But
it does. It just takes me back to, I remember when I was working, it's like, you know, the temperatures get up to the hundreds, you know, it just like sucks all the energy out of you. And then by the time your body acclimates to it, because usually about 3-4 days, you know, then it cools off, and then you got to repeat the cycle all over again when we have another hot stream, you know. But it's tough. But I tell you what, I heard you talking about moving to different places, and I like it right here.
I hear you.
You know,
I told Trini, I said I want to go visit. I want to go see California before it falls off into the water.
I was looking at something. I think it was on YouTube or something like that, and they was talking about. Actually, it was on Facebook, and they was talking about, you know, the earthquakes coming. You know, and they showed a map of what they predicted, like what the United States is going to look like.
And Vegas is oceanfront property.
Yeah, well, they're saying, you know, the Andreas Fault runs right down in the middle of California.
Yeah.
So basically, there's a freeway, Highway 5, that runs, you know, through the length of California, and that's just right where the Andreas Fault is. And so they were saying like Sacramento would have beachfront property.
Exactly.
And then they were talking about, I guess another one was that there's another fault line that runs along the Mississippi River.
Yes.
And they said that, you know, if those two happen, man, we're gonna be in the world of hurt.
Yeah.
There's one off the Atlantic coast here also. There's another one off of Atlantic City.
We are. There's about 4 super tectonic plate formats, like the fault line within the nation. Luckily, we're not that close to many of them here in Jersey. But in California, you have the volcanic plate, the one with the actual fault lines fall in the super volcanic line all the way down to South America, which is crazy. That
that's a San Andreas.
Yep. And then you have say again? Yeah.
And then you got the bigger ones, the one that's in what's that the park Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said that one's gonna be a doozy. But the thing is that we've been having quite a bit, of earthquakes, in the last month or so. I have, I don't. They have them, and unless it's on the news, I don't even know.
Yeah,
nothing about it.
Be like, did you feel that? No.
Yep. Yeah, I felt it all the way down in San Francisco. It must just bypass here because I didn't feel nothing. But anyway, I just I know Ida and Lydia, my daughter, they're talking about, well, we're gonna move down south. Like, what the heck for? Why you gonna move to Mobile? Then that area, man. Every time you turn around, there's hurricanes and tornadoes and flooding. No, I'm staying right here in Sacramento.
I heard San Diego's fly, so that's south.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the only earthquake that I ever felt was when they had, remember the one they had when the bridge collapsed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the major one, people killed.
Right. Yeah. I felt that one, and then we had another one that was like I guess Mount Shasta, Lake Shasta, or something like that. But anyway, that was like back in the 70s, I believe. Mm-hmm. But I remember the one that the big one they had in San Francisco. I was sitting at the dining room table, and I started seeing that the chandelier was swinging back and forth, Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's an earthquake. But anyway, I'll deal with that.
Right. Yeah, but imagine Hawaii also, because when it hits real hard, sometimes those guys have to run for high ground in Hawaii.
Yeah, in Japan, in Japan and all that kind of stuff in that area. Yeah.
Correct, exactly.
You want to see some funny shit? See if you can find a live broadcast when something like that happens. People who are native to like Hawaii or Japan, they ain't worried about it. They're like, yeah, shaking. Yep, I'm good. Yep, I'm all right, because they dealt with it. They know how to deal with it. They know what to expect. They know where to go. Like, you screaming tsunami to Hawaiians. I'm like, they've been here thousands of years. They know how to deal with a tsunami.
Well, a lot of them head for high ground. They hear the siren goes off, and a lot of them start bolting for high ground. And the Japanese, after that last tsunami, washed the whole damn town away. I mean, they got their attention.
Well, the ones that don't pay attention, they ain't here no more.
Yeah, they took one.
Yeah, they standing on the beach looking at it coming in. It's like, no.
They want to go fishing. They want to go grab up some of that fish that's on the sand. You know what I'm saying? When the water goes out, all of that fish is jumping around. You don't need a net. You just need a bucket.
Well, it's kind of like the movies, man. Everybody something's happening all weird and stuff. Everybody want to stand around and look at it and take pictures. Weird, man. You boogie. I mean, you find somewhere to hide, a higher ground or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just the way it is, man. Folks is nowadays. I think you were talking about folks. They just want to, get that notoriety. Man. And do all kind of crazy stuff. And like you was just talking about the little young kid that just shot up everybody for no particular reason. I don't know. I mean, it's just like folks they don't have no coping skills. Oh well, we've been pent up, for a whole year and a half, and we just gonna go out and just do some stupid stuff. I mean, I don't know what it is, man, but it's not the new norm for sure. Well, it is the new norm.
I always told Mo that.
Yeah.
Definitely 2.0 in the making.
I don't know. Folks running around here, man, they open up everything. I think it's too soon.
Yeah. They said that 73% of the people said it's way too soon to open everything up. And 27% actually says, oh, no. They took too long.
Well, the 27% is them folks that ain't got vaccinated, ain't gonna wear no mask, and
ain't gonna stick around life.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We'll just hope the natural selection takes care of them, But the thing is that they got the new strain that what do they call it? Yeah, yeah. You know, it's like I'm wearing my mask to 2025, man.
You
Let
said
me
what
picture
you
you.
you
Let me
still gonna
picture
have a
a
mask
picture of this little guy.
on? You still gonna have a mask on after you leave the
I'm,
service?
I'm gonna have him
I'm
bury
gonna
me
show
in
you.
my mask.
Look, this is the 19-year-old guy who was shooting earlier. He drove from one location to the next, just randomly shooting everybody. See, this is the kind of shit we got to deal with now. When you see people just this odd look, this peculiar look on his face, you have to be concerned. Because
Mhm.
folks these days, how to act. $1 million bond.
The pandemic
There's
has
gonna be
been
some
very rough
crazy.
on him, just by the way he
Yeah,
looked. You know?
I saw the you know, the video when they was actually arresting him, and that was kind of like basically kind of shocked. I was kind of going like, "That's a brother," you know. That's not something we do, you know. But looking at the picture
Yeah,
a little closer, I ain't gonna say nothing, but I'm thinking some kind of extremist kind of background, you know, going on there.
yeah.
But
He's a special kind of something. I don't know what it
mhm.
is, but he's a special kind of something. But they about to get in that ass. Trust me. If you're killing that many people in Phoenix, Arizona, oh, there's somebody waiting for his ass somewhere.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, no doubt. You just not tell somebody's relative, you know what I'm saying, and take that kind of personal.
Hell yeah. You can't just randomly think it's okay to kill people. It just don't work like that. Sorry. But even the situation you saw earlier in New York, in the Bronx, where the guy ran up on somebody with like some serious malintent, ready to kill him and shoot him in his head. I'm like, yo, these guys are just disgusting with their,
Yeah,
recently we had some shootings here in the city, and it's unfortunate we had young people die. They're shooting the leg, shot in the stomach, and I'm like, no matter what beef that could possibly occur, nothing seems to be big enough that a gun should be an option. Taking someone's life should be an option. There's nothing. Yo, put the guns away. Throw your hands up. Throw your hands up. And that's
Yeah, those days are gone, bro. I remember as a young man coming up, you know,
I'm like,
we used to, you know, there was a beef. No, hey, we meeting in the school playground or whatever, schoolyard,
mm-hmm.
and you bring your boys and I bring my boys or whatever, and you just
you figure it out.
whoever got the beat, y'all just get
You
out there and
figure
fight. And
it out.
we just showed up. We showed up just to make sure it was fair.
Yep.
So you know, that's all it is. You know, we had a little clique we called ourselves the Magnificent Seven, you know, and we didn't really need no more. You know what I mean? No, I mean, and then that's what we did. You know,
Right.
people had a beef, they come to us, and we just get everybody hooked up and make sure everything was on the fair and the fair.
Okay.
I remember I had a buddy. These guys came in. He had a suede coat, you know, and these dudes came in and just beat him up and took his coat. So we just said, okay, you bring the coat, you bring your boys, and
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna bring him, and we're gonna square this up. Yeah, he got his coat back, you know, because he beat the dude's butt, you know.
Right.
But it was, you know, it was fair, you know. So, but he had like maybe 5 or 6 guys jump on him. But anyway, that's another story. But that's what we used to do in the day, back in the day, man.
That's the old code. That old code don't
Yeah.
exist anymore. Old code, you can always
Yeah, like
depend
the
on the
one.
streets to manage things the
Yeah.
proper way. You
You
handle
remember
it one way
that
or the other.
song that they made in I believe it was the 80s, Self-Destruction. You remember that song? When
Mm-hmm.
they headed for self-destruction? And that is so prevalent by today's standards, it's like unreal. Because a
Yep.
lot of these kids are heading for self-destruction. You know, put the guns and the knives away, you know?
They're doing it. And you know what's sad is that now the experience that we're having is that there's a lot of fingers being pointed, right? Who's at fault? Who's at fault? They're saying that the mothers are not doing what they can do to ensure that these kids don't walk out of their homes having guns. They're complaining that the mothers are aiding and abetting by getting paid off to allow these kids to do what they need to do so they're able to get money to pay rent and take care of themselves, so on and so forth. It's really sad because ultimately, no matter what's going on, it's all our kids. We're all indirectly or directly involved in the lives of one of them. So we got to claim not only their accomplishments, but their shortcomings too. And we just got to do better as a community. To turn our cheeks don't mean shit. And that's the bad
Yeah.
part about it. We do that too often. We're always turning our cheeks or enabling somebody, protecting them. Oh, they were such good people. They were such good people. Oh, yeah, they're good in debt, or they're good in jail now for killing other people. How are they good people?
Yeah.
But
Well,
realistically,
it depends on your description or what a good person is, you know.
Yeah, true.
Because I don't, I don't care what it is, what somebody else does. Somebody always, including the person that perpetrates, always got an excuse, to what saying why they did it or whatever situation may be. I don't know. You got these guys, because I don't know how they are now. That I don't really get involved too much. But like you used to fight over the block. You don't own it. What are you fighting for?
Not at all.
you know I know a lot of these things probably got to do with drugs or whatever situation may be, or selling drugs, or you got a turf or whatever you're trying to protect it, or whatever you're trying to do. But even still, I mean, eventually you're gonna end up dead or in jail. So I don't know what's the big fight for. If everybody out there making money, everybody making money, let it go. But I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
old school, so I don't, I can't really
Yeah.
understand in the dealing, using drugs, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't do none of that. So I don't know. Never did.
Right.
In Florida, they actually one of the mayors down in Florida says, because since they have such a high, rate of crime, they want to start hiring a lot of the young kids. So he's actually putting out, letting a lot of businesses in the area, hire the young kids, and the county is going to start paying the salary for all of these kids, so it will take the burden off the business itself. So this is the way how they're trying to approach that gun violence down in Florida right now.
The Mod Squad, huh?
That's what we need.
You get them employed, it says, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So I guess to get them employed, put some money in their pocket might change things. That's what they're looking at doing.
Well,
yeah.
That initiative, I've seen it's worked, because if you look at it, the essence of, or the core reason why a lot of this stuff takes place is because of poverty. People are just so poor, and they want to, and they don't have their options. They don't see vividly options that they can have. So they turn to stuff that, they turn on what they know. You cover what you know. So if you're in a community where where Miss Jones gets off and where she gets off, you have a tendency of thinking that way. And it's sad because we turn on our own faster than we turn on others.
Well, you know what? I think I had a thought not too long ago, like dudes, well, I don't know how to do this. I know how to, hey, if you can sell drugs, you can be a businessman.
Big time.
You know what I mean?
You are one, right?
Yeah, you are one. You are, yeah. So I mean, don't say you can't do it, because you can. You're an entrepreneur. You figure out a way to to make some money. And so anyway, I don't really follow all of the excuses, if you will. Of why I can't do this, or why I don't have this, or why I mean, there's a lot of it is social and political. We're not really meant to have anything. There's nobody really wanted us to. You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's got to be, like you said, mostly it's got to be a group, joint effort. To change all this. And it's just like, I mean, I'm not trying to knock at anything, but it's just like nowadays, since we got the Juneteenth thing, everybody, oh wow, man, that ain't nothing, man. Y'all just stepped all over reparations, voting rights, Yeah.
The reparations party, so we give them a day off.
Yeah.
We give them a day off, and they'll settle for that.
I was talking about that earlier, how there's so much emphasis on Juneteenth, but we're still trying to defend our Voters' Rights Act.
Yeah.
We're still trying to see what we can do to get hate crime bill to protect blacks, African Americans against the hate crimes that have been involved.
And the George Floyd bill. Mm-hmm.
All this stuff.
I mean, the thing is, I ain't trying to knock on the Asian folks. I mean, they, but what I'm saying is that they had what about 6 months of publicized hate crimes, and they introduced a bill like immediately.
Right.
We've been dealing with this crap for 400 years, and we don't get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And then the whole thing is just like, I know y'all was talking about the race teachings of, I forgot what they call it, but in the schools. Yeah, there you go.
Critical race
and the only reason why, because I saw some guys said, well, we don't want one of these Republican dudes, and we don't want that taught in the school because it would give white people a complex or something.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't want to know. They don't want the kids to know what they've been doing all these years. You know what I mean? It ain't so much that we can teach our kids,
Absolutely.
with no problem. But they don't want their kids to know the mess that they've been doing all up until this point. And that's why everybody trying to. We don't want that. We don't want. We don't want them to know that because that's traumatizing.
See, that's the
Well,
thing.
what do you think it was to the people that y'all was committing that trauma to?
The thing about it is because you can't go through.
We don't want that. We don't want.
Picking and choosing what you're going to put into the history books. And that's what actually was done. They were picking and choosing, like cherry picking. We're going to put this in, but we're going to leave this out. We're going to put this in, but we're going to leave this out. So they put certain things in and they left a lot of stuff out. And then it says, okay, we're going to teach this to the masses. And the majority of the publication companies are predominantly all white that actually publishes a lot of these school books. And it actually goes to public schools. So we tend to actually learn what they've actually taught us, skipping a lot of the important things.
Yeah, and our history is way, way, way deeper than slavery. But that's all we know. It's just that's all we've been taught. I should say, and I never bought that. I'm kind of like, well, I'm a seeker of truth, man, and that's just me, and I will dig and I found out the deeper you dig, the blacker it gets, and it's just like the Egyptians, the pyramids and all that kind of stuff. They said, well, black people couldn't have did that, so it must have been aliens. It had to be okay. Y'all trying to,
aliens.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, y'all just took the Caucasian folks out of the equation. So we know black folks couldn't have did it, so it had to be aliens.
Yeah.
Well, we prove them wrong all the time, but the discussion that we talked about critical race is one of the things that we're talking about. But an element you touched on earlier is discussions that my wife and I have had quite a few times. How history itself is always dating. Like there's so much emphasis in America about the greatness of Greece and Roman history to democracy, but it never goes back to the College of Timbuktu, the Crescent Nile Valley, all the greatness that was available there.
Yeah.
The greatness that was in the Congo region about the efforts of the Zulus or Shaka Zulu, the histories behind that. Not talking about the great military wisdom of Hannibal, being able to take elephants over the mountains.
Yeah.
To go in
Himalayas and stuff. Yeah.
So
you know what is I hear you, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I mean, it's the thing that kind of gets me is the fact, they will tell you that Africa, as far as they're concerned, even today, you go they figure that black folks in Africa is living in tents and huts and stuff, with the lions and the giraffes and everything else like that. Okay. Right. And they're saying that, we never contribute anything to culture.
Oh,
but their museums are full of our stuff.
Our culture.
It's full of our stuff. All the European museums got all our stuff in there, man. And but we never contribute. We didn't have a culture. We didn't contribute nothing. We were just savages, And
I still say I have a problem with when the Holocaust came in, right? The Jewish Holocaust came in. There was so much of a desire to make sure everything got back to what's right. You had people who owned art, and they were sought and found and delivered back to the families of those that have suffered deaths, whoever stuff. So there's always a worldwide want, depending on the influence behind it. What about our archaeological finds that we've had, where people like from Brussels, like historically speaking, there's always somebody from Europe so happily waiting to find the riches in Egypt, so happily waiting to find in other regions within the world to take it back and claim it their own. Last time I checked, not one person in any one of those museums looked like any of those Europeans. They all African, wide nose, dark skin, the whole nine, but they want to keep looking at that's theirs. They own it. No, you stole it. Return it back to where it needs to be. and that's the injustice. It was so much injustice to people of color. I think it's just it's so wide that it would be such a huge paradigm shift around the world if we were ever to regain what is rightfully ours.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you a little short story, and I'm gonna keep it short. But anyway, I was having dinner with some, I said lunch with some friends that I used to work with. We try to do it on a regular basis,
Right.
keep in touch. And I had one of my supervisors that we didn't get along too well. So, and I'm the type of person, I walked in there with my dashiki and my kufu, and, my walking stick, African walking stick.
Right.
So the dude, he was like, first thing come out of his mouth, I ain't trying to be prejudiced or nothing, but
There you go.
but there's nothing in Africa that nobody wants. Fool, are you kidding? Everybody and his mama is in Africa trying to get something.
Fool.
Even today, the United States is over there. Says, don't you remember when that brother got killed over there? There's nothing that nobody wanted. Why are we there? Why is the French there? Why is the Germans there? Why is the China and Japan? Everybody is there. They're there for a reason because they want something. And now I felt it's kind of neat that a lot of the African countries, they're kicking the Chinese folks out.
I love it. Nigeria was like, y'all gotta go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for everything you've done. Goodbye. Get out.
Bye.
Love it.
Yeah, the Chinese, they think they want to just buy up the entire continent, and they try to like, okay, well, we'll build you an office building. I remember the story they had built them a government building, but they had put bugs in it so they could keep track, they could spy on them.
You can see all kind of shit like that. The sad part about it is that there's so much romanticism for the butchery that takes around the world by the dominant forces. Dominance of the evil that comes out, whether it's Anglo-Saxon or it's Asian or it's whatever country or region of the world. They always romanticize it. They come in, they don't want to say they're raping and pillaging. They're discovering new lands. How do you discover land that's always been there?
Yeah.
Or we're bringing civility to. How the hell are you bringing civility when you've learned all your civility from us?
There you go. But I don't know, man. It's like we need to, and I think we are starting to wake up.
A little bit.
And but we need to kind of get some unity going, And I don't know, like I said, I'm not talking about taking over or your uprising and all the kind of stuff. But we just need to know, hey, no, y'all ain't doing that to us no more. We're not taking it no more. Was this they were saying that movie, I'm mad as hell and I ain't taking no more?
Right.
That's it. That's it right there. No, I'm not gonna beat you up or jeopardize your your life or anything. But look, I'm just not gonna let you just be messing with mine. That's all. I'm not gonna let you mess with my mind and my stuff. I want it. Give it all to me, and that's where I'm coming from.
Hell yeah.
But it's like I said, it's you got a lot of people, thinking that the end of the story was, so since I blasted the dude back on why Phil Post was, everybody's in Africa, he said to him like, you know what? You could probably get a job standing out in front of a Lion King. I said, you're probably right. Because I had my African garb on, So yeah, you're right. I ain't mad at you, and I ain't mad about you associating me with Hakuna Matata. Move on.
It's stupidity. It's basically stupidity. People say some bullshit like that. I wish somebody would say, go back to where you come from, the country you come from. Shit, I built this country. Why don't you go?
Yeah.
Why don't you go back to the country you came from? Because
I'm from here.
I've been here.
That's where I'm from.
My folks are from here. I don't know about you, but my folks are from here. What about you?
Yeah.
We built it outside of that.
But like I said, but they don't want us to. Like you was talking about the education thing, about Black history and stuff. They don't. It's not so much that they don't want their kids to understand it, because what's happening is they don't want us to, which they never did. You know, they never did want us to know our history. You know, they never did want us to know, because if you take away a person's history and their roots, you know, they got nothing to cling to, nothing to, you know, to stand on. And, you know, and it's just like the old saying, you know, if you kill the roots, the whole tree dies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, you know, just the ideal of it all. So they don't want us to know some of the stuff, because a lot of folks, they get mad. You know, even like they start, you know, you notice like they start talking about the Oklahoma, the Black Wall Street massacre. You know, I've been
Greenwood.
on that for years, but see, then everybody like, oh man, that really happened. You know, that was just wrong. So you got some Caucasian folks that's going like, they upset, you know, and then of course our people is upset, you know,
You know what?
and
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
but I'm done.
I was going to say is, you know, one thing that I'm starting to recognize though, I think the powers that be are scared for their children to learn about the atrocities and white supremacy, because their children develop empathy,
Yeah.
and a sympathy, and they become allies, and then they work. Arguably, they work alongside with us to straighten up justice, because you
That's
see
kind of what
Black
I'm
Lives
saying.
Matter marches and so on and so forth. You see a lot of white kids, African Americans are in there, but predominantly when you see Seattle and things like this, these are people are Caucasians fighting because of their sympathy. They're empathizing with us and all the injustices that have happened to us, and they hate feeling guilty. Their elders hate feeling guilty for how they've gotten wealthy. The youth, that they've spawned and raised on their dollars, know the guilt, and they feel the guilt, and they want to make things right, and they can't stand it. They can't stand their children being aligned with enemies that they've created themselves.
Well, you know, it's just like when we were having the riots last summer, man. You know, it's like the Antifa thing.
Yeah,
I would say 80% of folks, you know, that was doing all the rioting and all that kind of stuff, they were white kids.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and I remember seeing a post. There was like somebody had went through a cemetery, and they had like wrote Black Lives Matter on all these tombstones, you know, painted, spray painted, and broke it up. And I was thinking, I said, you know what? I don't know any black folk that's gonna go in the cemetery at night and write Black Lives Matter all on these tombstones. I don't know not one, including myself.
It doesn't make. You know what? We joke about that all the time. My wife and I, and I think my son and I, we joke about that. And I say, Puerto Rican ain't gonna do this, black man ain't gonna do that. And we have certain stereotypes that we know, characteristically wise, we know they have a foundation in truth. There's certain things we just don't. Historically speaking, people of color are very respected or respected of those that are passed on. We don't, it's creepy to us.
Well, we're more spiritual, you know, and yeah,
right.
and I think that's kind of that. Even though we don't necessarily practice it,
right?
But it's kind of some things are just sort of bred into you, you know. Yeah. And so, so like all the spirituality stuff, you know, the powers to be wants to change that is, that's just witchcraft. That's just, that's just a no. That's devil worship, you know. And you have a lot of folks, even like voodoo and stuff, you know. I mean, that it works, you know. And but then they try to, incorporate the Catholic religion into it so that not to piss off the powers to be, you know.
Right.
But I saw something where it was a while back where this dude had walked up to this priestess. He didn't know she was a priestess, a voodoo priestess, and he called her something, I don't know, whatever. And that chick said something, and that dude died on the spot. And it was on YouTube, or it was on something, you know. And I don't know, but they showed the video. The dude like had a heart attack or something, you know.
Right.
And but so it's like I said, we are spiritual, you know, and we respect spirits, and we respect our ancestors' spirits, you know. So, but anyway, you know, that's another story. But I still believe that there are some things that there's a reason for everything. You know what I mean? Even the stories, the stereotypes and stuff. You know, I know Mr. Hug here is he's thinking.
You just did a wonderful job, John.
He's thinking.
Adrian probably got some stories himself of how things are, because we all have our own indigenous stereotypes.
You spoke about history, and I was listening to you very carefully. You spoke about like the Egyptians and some of the people in the Middle East when it comes down to American history, which it should be on a global scale. If you're going to teach the kids right.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Caribbean down here, and me being from Trinidad, I actually learned the history down in my country in the Caribbean before I came to the United States to learn about the history here.
See?
So what I know is a lot different. It was both. I have both sides. I know from the Caribbean perspective and from the American perspective also. So it's a different learning. It's a different learning, and I think the kids, a lot of the ancestors came from the Caribbean and things of that nature, because like Barbados is directly tied straight in to South Carolina. But a lot of people that live in South Carolina don't even know that, from the cooking and the whole 9 yards. All that's from the Caribbean.
Yep.
So, yeah. So if you're going to teach the kids, teach them right. Just don't teach them half of the story and says, this is it. You graduate. See you later. Because they're going to walk through life being ignorant.
Well, I think it's kind of like basically to encompass it all, so you can get a 360-degree version of history, so I mean you can see it, you get it from all sides viewpoints, so you could, that way you have some empathy, for folks, like I said, I don't necessarily think that I just don't like Caucasian folks, because I know some Caucasian folks, got some beautiful hearts, you know what I mean, and I would consider them to be like a brother, but the situation is that it just can't be one-sided. It can't be just, well, it's all about Black history. It's all about it's history. That's that's the bottom line. And it should be taught as history, both good and bad.
Right.
Because like in Trinidad, the color of the flag in Trinidad is red, white, and black, and it's there for a reason, because we're all under the same flag. So we try to unite, even though wherever you go around this planet, you're going to find racism. So that's wherever, that's what separates a lot of people, whether it's religion or whatever the case, and they're going to find, racism. Just like America is red, white, and blue. Who knows? The red, the white, and the cops. You know what I'm saying? It's the fiber. That's
That's the whole thing, man.
State. It's a police state.
Right.
The entire United States is a police state.
Right. Red for the blood being shed in the streets. White supremacy that we've all fought against and had to suffer from, and blue for the hearts of so many that have lost lives. We're all blue. And shall we say,
red, white, and blue.
I was having a discussion with a gentleman not too long ago about on the police brutality and stuff, and he was saying, well, it's getting all this violence and stuff is coming. We were getting all this violence and either come in and people getting shot and killed and all this kind of stuff. And we need more police. And I said, well, you know what? The police ain't never been a preventative situation. I mean, they can't prevent violence. They can't, prevent the shootings. They're reactionary. They're a knee-jerk organization. They might come in and solve the crime, but they can't stop it. And that's never was their purpose, to stop crime. Because if that's the case, we would have no crime at all.
The situation with Rodney King, when all of that stuff first jumped off of the camera, when there was a lot of Rodney King over, look how what exploded right immediately thereafter, when some of those cops was acquitted. The whole damn city of Los Angeles, they almost burned the bad boy down.
Well, I think
you guys see in Portland, Oregon, right, where the entire riot team came together and submitted their letter of resignation from the riot team because something had happened, and then there's a court case involving someone who's part of their team. I'm like,
right. Well, that's just some kind of scare tactic. Well, goodbye, Felicia. we'll see you later. I mean, they're quitting because their whole card has been exposed. So we can't go out there and just jack over people. Then we don't want to work. Well, bye. See you. Get somebody in that will work and will work right.
Start recruiting. You need new members.
I would say when it comes to stuff like that, there's always going to be willing bodies and able bodies to be able to fill in the ranks if necessary. You know, if you got a team of employees that find in their heart that they're so enamored with the idea of being strengthened in one and ready to step away, if they're so vital, then fine, y'all can step away. I'll fill the ranks with other people, because ultimately it's the people who pay you is more important than the person who's getting paid.
The thing that really gets me, man, is like, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but this research, but like here in Sacramento, 2/3 of the city budget goes to police.
Oh yeah, yep, it's major.
Yeah,
they get all the money.
They control the cities.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they ask for more money.
Yeah, but you see, the thing about it too, John, because once a cop, end up crossing the line, and the family members saw him to sue the city because the cop works for the city, all of that money is taxpayers' money that's actually paying out, to the families in millions of dollars.
Yep.
So
I think that's the thing with police reform that should change. Number one, I think that if police do something wrong, they should be able to be sued, and it should come out of their money, their retirement or whatever, their pension plan, whatever, And the other thing is, if they're gonna do anything, it's like, okay, if a guy got one police officer, say he was in San Francisco, got fired for misconduct, they shouldn't seal his records. His records should follow him wherever, anytime. Yeah,
because if you work for a company and you go to another company, the first thing they're going to do is to call that other company to find out, your record.
Yeah.
To find out what did you do to get fired. They track and chase you down. It should be no different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what?
They call it impunitive immunity, I think is what they call it.
Qualified immunity.
Yeah.
Qualified immunity is the big discussion had. There's right now is more and more urban cities are starting to choose to stay out of that whole protection process of qualified immunity. There's a lot of states tackling that right now, and this is the concern that a national group of police officers or police supporters are starting to get really loud about the stuff. And I'm like, let's be honest with the situation. If you're a just officer, if you do what you need to do and you're doing stuff in office, then the law protects you, and the law protects the taxpayers from doing so. But if you're in a situation where you made bad choices, you did something that was wrong or improper, then you have to be held accountable for it. There's no reason why that the taxpayers of the municipal government that pay you should be paying and be at fault for something that you made a bad choice in.
Yeah.
There's no other. It seems like there's no other safety net anywhere else that says that provides that. So why should you get that entitlement when everyone else has to go?
Because they know that once they screw up, the city's going to have to pay for their screw up, and then the police unit is going to come to their defense. Right. So you're looking at the city paying one side, and on the flip side, the police union is backing them. If you was to put that on their shoulders directly, it will change the dynamics. There's no doubt about it. Because they will start thinking before they act instead of acting first. They're thinking after.
Yeah, I mean, they come up with, I know like here they got something where like, they have to use some kind of discretion as to what level of force they're going to use, and then they can be, if they use too much at a certain instance, then they can be held accountable, whatever. But I mean, they're going to figure out a way like, oh, well, it just happened so fast. And I just, just took it to the team level, immediately, They're fair way to get around that. But yeah.
I saw this one situation this week on television, whereas this one cop knew for a fact that he did wrong. But what happened was the individual was actually taping this cop. So the cop actually took away the cell phone from this individual and started erasing all of the stuff.
That was in Philadelphia, wasn't it?
That was in Philadelphia. Erasing all of the information about him, about how dirty he really is.
That's why they try to get some superficial law that try to protect police officers, saying that you can't tape videotape police officers in action. Supreme Court says yes, you can. There is no protection.
Yeah.
You cannot. You as a police
Well,
officer.
they're videotaping you. It's in a public place.
Yep.
They're videotaping you.
There's no infringement.
And you're a public servant.
Yep.
Exactly.
There's no infringement, right? There's no infringement on personal space. There's no infringement on privacy. There's no HIPAA laws in protecting you. You're supposed to be executing the actions of a civil servant who is supposed to be protected and or obligated for public rights and the law itself. So, people have a right to record you. There's no reason why.
I know. Yeah, like, and you don't have to, like, back in the day, you had to be like right there, stand in front of, Now they got these. Well, I know, like my phone, it got like a Zoom mic. It's got a Zoom, and you could be 10 feet away and zoom right in on the conversation,
Yeah.
So they hurting because I've seen like guys. Well, you can't record from this side of the street. What?
But
Or
but if that was the case, look at the George Floyd case, because that would have never came to light if that young lady wasn't videotaping.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What was going on at that moment?
And then they was talking about giving her a Pulitzer Prize or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I mean, she did good. So now everybody want to jump in on the bandwagon. Everybody gonna be taping a whole bunch of stuff.
The first thing they say is like, I have a cell phone, I have a videotape. Don't leave home without it.
There you go.
You don't leave home without it.
Shit. Now everybody, even regular citizens and civilians, need to carry body cams because you never know how shit goes on, man. It's a shame.
Yeah.
A lot of people
surveillance
go
cameras
into dash cams. So when you get pulled over, they just flick the dash cam around and it says, "Okay, now we're on camera." Because the cop
it's just like over in Russia, everybody got a dash cam.
Yeah, everybody, exactly.
Shit, that's how Russians control one another. The Kremlin was watching you. Yep.
Well,
I mean, you got a lot of people over there, like there, you driving down the street, some dude just running, just jump on your car, and then swear you hit him,
I'll tell you what, the way things are, surveillance has gotten crazy. Like I kept thinking, how the closed circuit system in Europe is in the United Kingdom. There's like a camera every block, every half block, and they monitor everything. It's crazy how much monitoring they do, but it also helps in crime prevention because everyone gets caught.
Hey Mo, where did you say that was?
That's not to say we don't have that here if they don't tell us.
Mo, where did you say all of those cameras were?
The United Kingdom.
You think that's bad? Try China.
Well, I can imagine.
China is crazy.
I can imagine. Even more so.
Everything's made in China, especially cameras.
Yeah.
Every freaking block, every property is freaking cameras.
I can imagine. I know that I was watching a show on Netflix.
They want to keep track of what's going on, so they won't have another Tiananmen Square in their hands.
Yeah, I was watching a show called Closed Circuit on Netflix, and that was just snippets of video in the United Kingdom of the stuff that they would look into, the crazy video. And all I kept thinking, could America deal with that kind of stuff? We're so entitled. We're so blessed with our freedom and our rights. Would we be willing to engage in something like that? I think it could be helpful, but I think people are they think that they want to be so private. I'm like, that's until you.
I think I got news for you. They got that here. They just don't tell us.
Right. True. I believe it.
I mean, they all up in your internet and your Wi-Fi, and it's all we got this new stuff coming out. It's going to help you out. Yeah, right.
Because you notice how, and I was saying this to my son the other day, your grandson, how 5G was pushed like crazy for a while. It was pushed. Everyone had to have 5G. Then the issue of the pandemic came around. All of a sudden, coronavirus had to do with the 5G technology. So there was pushback. 5G. It enabled cameras everywhere to have more frequency. The overlays, everything was 4K, 8K clarity. So, things that are enabled to have Wi-Fi connection are now connected all the way around. And you may not know.
It's just like last week, they had a thing where Amazon. You hear where they got the Amazon the Wi-Fi neighborhood or whatever, where folks can actually use your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
If you got a Ring or either a Amazon, what do you call it, Echo, Electra, or whatever.
Yep.
And I just like, oh hell no, no. Oh, this is good for you in case your stuff go out. Hey, look, no, no.
Yep.
As a matter of factly, but Xfinity, they have a thing where like they can use your Wi-Fi as a hotspot,
Yep.
but you got to go in there and turn it off. Because I'm like, look, man, I'm paying El Primo dollars, man, and I want every bit of bandwidth that I can get.
Absolutely.
I'm paying for. I ain't sharing mine with nobody. Y'all want some Wi-Fi? Go get you some.
Yeah.
But no, I was like, no, turn that off. Go to your Ring account, go to your Alexa account, and turn it off. Then they were saying, oh well, if you don't do it by the 8th, you there's no out. Yes, there is. You can go right there and just turn it off.
Yeah, there's a disabling mechanism. It has to by law.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there watching the videos. I was going to mention it. The Skynet concept. Skynet had to do with Terminator, and how everything was connected, all kinds of stuff. And with Echo and Amazon going live, being the community thing, people weren't paying attention to that stuff. I said, you're so worried and concerned about getting 5G because you think all this video communication back and forth is what you need. You're not recognizing that all that stuff enables everything else that has a camera to it to now be linked together. You can't walk in the shower without being linked. When you have people using like the Echo services in their bathrooms, there's nothing that it's just like watched you do it.
What I was looking, this is the thing. Matter of fact, this morning they were talking about the Peloton, that Jim and home got folks all in looking at you, all in your video, your everything.
At one time, it was just little do you know when you have this facial recognition, like on Facebook. Facebook has all these applications. They show you that you can convert your look. You can make yourself like a fish. You can the filtering service here and there. All you're doing is enabling their facial recognition applications or is to be filled with all the faces that you make, along with the video snippets. So it's a major database that everyone's keeping with.
The bottom line is your privacy is no longer private, folks. Let's face it. Let's get real. You go to the supermarket or whatever, you give them your credit card that's tied to a lot of your information. You have your cell phone going over towers. That people could actually pick up these things with scanners or whatever the case. Your privacy is no longer private.
Hey,
so
you don't even have to.
What did they decide to do? They decided
you don't even have to have them scan your stuff.
Yeah.
If you check, you go to Google, and they're going like, oh, how did you like your experience at such and such? They know where you at.
Of course they do.
Walmart's got a thing like they don't tell you, but they have a scanner at the door when you go in that actually sees you, and then they know what you buy, and and you get ads and all that kind of stuff to basically, they know, so it's all hooked up.
Yeah,
they don't tell you.
That's the reason why a lot of these companies are fighting Congress, because they have so much access to your personal information. And that's why every now and then, these companies are getting hacked, and you hear, okay, well, millions of people in their credit cards and their identification, social security numbers, your address, your phone numbers, it goes right out the window.
I was bugging myself about a month ago. I'm in Walmart buying whatever I need to buy. I go home, forgot to buy something because I couldn't find it at the store. So I went onto the Walmart website. All of a sudden, everything that I bought that day was now available to me on Walmart's website.
Yeah.
But I don't have a membership card, membership number, but it let me know everything I bought the other day. Now it's available.
It's your phone. It's your phone.
They call it, in the marketing, they call it geo-targeting. Geo-targeting is like a fence that when you walk by or you walk into a business or whatever, it picks up all of your information right off your phone.
Yeah. It's just like I went to a restaurant, and you get a thing like, how did you enjoy your food at the such and such thing? Can you give it a review, or how would you rate that, or and or even if you don't even go in the store, I got stuff like, oh, I saw you were by Subway,
Right. My man down there, huh?
Well, my brothers, welcome. It seems like we have Martin McCurtis come on. How you doing, brother?
Oh man, I'm doing great, guys.
Look at that guy cruising around, man. It's all sunny on your side of the street, not ours.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
yeah. Well, hey, look. You know what? My wife is from Chicago, and I say
Mhm.
that Chicago is nothing but North Mississippi because half of everybody, from down south, we went up north. We went to Chicago, we went to Detroit, and a few of us found our ways to Philadelphia and New York. So, hey, I'm used. Every time I hang around someone that's from the East Coast, they've got
Mhm.
some roots down south.
Mhm. We're
Yeah,
all connected.
yeah. The Great Migration.
That's
The
it.
Oh
We're
Great
all
yeah.
connected.
Migration. Yeah.
Well, hey, you got to follow the opportunity. That's what it's all about.
That's it. That's what we are. We are animals of migration. We do exactly for that. Yep. We follow
Exactly.
opportunities to feed and what have you. So it's all good. It gives me a reason to have road trips, go visit family all over the place. Gives me an
Oh
excuse.
man.
Yeah, we got
Look,
Martin down in Mississippi down there. I know you
Mark,
guys are expecting some bad weather.
how y'all feeling, man? How's the weather over there right now? Is it all right? Y'all looking
man.
into heat?
Right now it's good, bro. I mean, it's real good. The previous couple days it was 95. Today I think the high was around 90, 91, and it was just comfortable, low humidity, and humidity is the key to everything.
That's right. That's right.
Oh
That's right.
yeah.
And in your business, humidity is definitely the key, right, brother?
Hey, look, that's exact.
Let's pivot on that
That's
one.
it.
Let's pivot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now see, you know what? Actually, on a video I just made recently, it's also the process of a low pressure system.
Okay.
Because the way the hair dryer works, it's actually creating sort of a low pressure environment, which encourages better and faster evaporation, and also because you're reducing the humidity level, which is really good as far as drying because I think everybody on this line is old enough to remember putting a pair of jeans out on the clothesline and
Yeah.
how long that takes. That's
I'll
something
say the
everybody can
with high
window.
relate to.
humidity. With high
They
humidity.
can't afford a clothesline.
Hey,
I'll say the
I hear
window.
where
He's
I live
gonna
at. You
blow
put
away.
anything out on the clothesline, you lucky you don't catch on fire.
Now, okay.
Exactly.
Well, Dad, I don't know if you know, Martin is a entrepreneur. He's created some industry, new type of industry tools to help in the cosmetology industry. Hair. He created a hair
Okay.
that it revolutionized the whole concept. So Martin, he bestowed upon us a story, gave us a video, and told us about the whole thing. So he's part of the family now. It's been a while since we've seen cousin Martin, but I'm glad to see that the brother's doing well and he's all right, driving, chilling like a. Well, I
I
tell you
think I
what,
kind of
This guy,
remember
man.
seeing
You
something
know
you
that?
had posted a while back. It's like a hair dryer or
yeah,
something.
Yeah,
Or,
that's what it is.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I
It's a
remember that.
microwave hair dryer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, cousin Mo, thank you, bro.
Well, thank you,
that's right.
boy.
Yeah, I remember seeing that long. It's been a while
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Well,
we
look,
happy to
I'm not.
change.
But it was still under production or something. You was working on getting the final patents or something.
Well, the
I think I
finances,
remember that.
Yeah,
which I'm still working on the finances, but right now
yeah.
that's looking a whole lot better. But right
Okay.
now, I'm not driving anymore. I'm at I'm actually going out to grab something for dinner. It's Father's Day, so Friday I want to treat them real good so they'll take care of me.
Okay.
I'm gonna say something right here. It's something that I noticed. It's like Mother's Day is a whole and Father's Day are two different things.
Oh yeah.
Usually on Father's Day they expect you to cook.
But now, look,
Yeah,
this is the lead up. See, you know what? We got to see the clouds to make sure it rains.
There we go.
yeah.
There we go.
But I don't know about you, but I've been seeing my clouds for a long time. you know, but it's like I saw something that was about reason why mothers get more respect is because they pay more attention to the kids than fathers do. And
Well, you know
so there
what?
was like,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, I was through.
Oh
Go ahead,
no.
speak, my
Well,
brother, speak.
oh yeah. With this right here, because I'm full time on this, I actually
Mhm.
spend a lot more time with my son than my wife. But mama's love ain't nothing like it.
True.
You better not say nothing about his mother. I just say
Mhm.
that. All right,
Oh yeah.
and that's the way. That's when it comes to being a dog. That's the kind of dog I want to be.
Right.
Ain't nobody gonna say shh about your mother.
That's
That
right.
right there. That's when you drop. That's when you drop the book sack and you drop your hand and you get ready to drop whoever in front of you. You
That's
don't
right.
talk about mama. All right. But yeah, man. I mean, it's.
But
I
you can
mean, it's
cuss
just
daddy out,
wonderful.
huh?
Nah, nah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah, I'm a
no,
mama's boy
no.
too, so we
Then
understand.
he got to fend for himself. That's it. Yeah.
No, we, we, we,
No,
we hold it down, represent our fathers, but we have to protect our mothers.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
and we
we have
and we
to.
let them know that I will flip your ass upside down.
Absolutely.
Real talk.
Absolutely.
With the
Hard
southern drawl.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
I can. I, excuse me, guys. Excuse me.
uh-huh.
Now
Yeah.
look, I
You.
can't. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead,
No.
bro.
Oh no, look, hey, I can't get up there and talk business and try to drop. Well, I don't necessarily try to drop the southern accent, but I want to make sure that my pronunciation is always on point. But I make sure
Always.
that I let them know
Mm-hmm.
that it's real, that it's
Mm-hmm.
real,
Well,
and I now look. The best example I can give is I was talking to a doctor, and we were talking about people with southern accent, and we were talking about me because I do a lot of presentations and I'm in front of a lot of audiences
Mm-hmm.
with hundreds of people, and a couple times there were a few thousand people, not people, and they were talking about doing presentations, and I said, well, look, hey, I'm from the South, but yet still I don't necessarily have a thick Southern accent. But
no, you
if you
don't.
have ears to hear, if you have ears to hear, you can pick it out. So I just said, look, I'm not trying to fool anyone, but I do want to portray myself in an intelligent way. And that's
Yeah.
the one thing y'all, I'm getting so off subject, but when I was looking at the NFL draft and stuff like that, and I saw the way these young men, very intelligent, very talented, they were talking. They sounded like they were in a rap song, like yeah, bro. I mean, I was like, oh my
That drives
god,
me crazy. Yep.
oh
Well,
my god.
I want to say that you really don't. I mean, my idea of a country of a accent be like, yo, get so yeah. You don't have that. You know, but I
No,
remember when I was working, I would have to deal with clients, over the phone most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when
uh
they
huh.
finally got a chance to meet me in person, they'd be like, whoa, they couldn't believe it. You was like, I didn't think I was talking to a black guy, like, well, we don't all, don't be surprised. I can talk ghetto and I can talk,
Yeah.
I can speak well, but
Yeah,
whatever,
when you in the
however I
hood,
speak,
you can
you
fit
know
in.
what I'm talking about. Okay.
But you know
Yeah,
what,
when
y'all?
you
That's what makes y'all bilingual, though. We
Yeah.
communicate in the regions that where we are in the said language.
hmm
It's called broken English, and
Yeah.
that's actually a language. Broken English is an actually language,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and where you go, and this is a crazy because when I was in college, we got into the whole midst of understanding languages more because people had a tendency of looking each other differently because of the way they spoke, not understanding that these people are equally educated, if not even more educated. It's just the drawl and the pronunciation sometimes is because their
Dialect.
level speaking to one another, and in certain
Right.
areas, it's their ethnic backgrounds. Like you have some Geechees that pronounce words a little different because of the French Creole into their
Right.
yeah,
speaking. You know what I mean? So it really depends on it. But I love it. I tell my wife
Yeah.
all the time, I want to go deep, deep, deep. The deepest I go, where every word they can speak like 10 minutes long and it sounds like one word because it just mixes together. But I want to learn that more because I just love how people are in a genuine state, and I appreciate people in a genuine state, no matter how broken the language is. I appreciate that. I'm just that unique kind of person. Talk to me however it is that you talk to me. I want you to feel comfortable. As long as you and I can communicate, I'm good with however you pronounce it.
But like I said, I can talk hood and I can talk proper English, but whatever I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. There's no doubt about it.
Right. Now I mean, right. Now I'm saying, yeah, I got you. Yep.
and the whole
Hey,
thing
Martin.
about it, I'm sorry, yeah, get it up, baby.
No,
Go
yeah,
ahead, Mark.
someone just asked a question, as far as the hair dryer is concerned, not to keep the topic or anything.
Yeah,
Do you have pricing on it or anything? Renee just asked that.
yeah. Renee was asking any retail pricing yet?
Yeah.
Okay, well, right
What's
now,
that?
you know, Adrian, you know that's my favorite topic. You know, I had to
Yeah,
come
man, that's
in
what I
and
want you
just
to preach, my brother.
you know, I had to come in. You know, the way the brother was talking about, you know, going to an environment and just talking and being there. See, I had to get my feet in the environment to know
Right.
where I'm at. Okay, and get comfortable. And now I can come and hit y'all with the Willy Bobo.
Kick it,
All right,
kick
cool.
it,
Well,
kick,
look.
kick the football you need. That's all. We good.
All right. Now look for the consumer model. Adrian's got the pictures and the videos to explain a lot of that. But we're looking at $249.95, and a lot of people telling me that I'm underpricing it.
Yeah,
So
that
you
sounds
know,
like
yeah,
that
two
sounds
forty
lower.
nine ninety five. Yeah.
So people are paying
Right.
attention. Is $249. That's all you're getting for this amazing type of a technology, yo.
Well, the main
Yeah,
reason is, look. To be honest, I was actually around 150
Okay.
because I know where I come from. I mean, I definitely didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth
Hmm.
at all. You know, I mean, you know how it is when you're digging in the bottom of the freezer, try to
hmm,
find something for dinner. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a stranger. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm not trying to get rich. I mean, rich off of someone else's pain.
Hmm.
But because of the business side of it, if you're selling a premium product, then it sort of needs to have a premium price. But I wouldn't go any higher than 250.
Hmm.
And they
Yeah, I
really
think
forced me to do it.
Yeah, I think you could maybe start off with even to fund it. You know, like maybe start off with like you said, 199 before you
Yeah.
know, and yeah, and then they can, and then at the you start getting a little speed behind you. You can just jag it back up to two, just say 250. You know, I mean,
Now, now one thing a guy that said to me on my that's on my team, he does car audio, and he reminded me of one thing. He said, you know what? When he was arguing with me, now I'm only 5'6". He's about 6'2", and he's like skilled in black belt kung fu and all that kind of stuff. And he's like,
nice guy
Mark,
to argue.
oh yeah, yeah. But now look, hold up, I ain't no chump either. Now. I guarantee you have to work for this. You gonna have to put in some work. All right. But look, but we never would come like that. He said, look, he said, why you trying to count somebody else's pockets? Why you trying to solve somebody else's problems? He said, these guys coming here, they live in the hood in a shotgun spot where the front door barely closed and they got to tape it closed. And they'll come in here and spend $3,000 or $4,000 for some rims on a
Yep.
Caprice Classic
True.
that's 20 years old.
Yep.
He said, if it's worth that, then make them pay that because women will go and spend $200 or $250 for
Oh,
some
here.
hair and pay someone $300 to put it in, and when they don't like it, they'll take it out in 4 to 6 weeks. He
Yeah.
said, so you are not managing anyone's budget. They're going to spend money foolishly, but what you have to do is represent the value of your product and the value of what you're giving them. And when he said that, you can't argue with wisdom.
yeah,
He knew what the hell he was talking about.
he
Yeah.
right, he right. You know, somebody go spend $1 million on a pair of Kanye West sneakers. You know, hey, you know.
Absolutely.
Oh man, he had to go there, boy. Man, you're right.
Well, it is what it is, man.
You know how we
It's the
do.
truth.
We
It's
find
Yeah,
the
value in
truth.
shit that we think we
yeah,
find value in. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
you're absolutely right.
You can't
I,
argue with the truth.
nope. And we see it all the time. We see a lot of times the sisters live, on a regular basis in these hair salons, and they spend all
Yeah.
kinds of money. So if there's a way, this is just a minor chip right now for them to save money long term. That makes sense to me. That's dollars that they can be saving, to do something else that they need to do.
Okay, 450.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
a
they,
lot. But you know what? To be honest, the price is going to be set when we hire a marketing firm, because that's going to be necessary for brand development. And
that's
right
right.
now, I'm actually in a situation where Adrian knows about this. That I'm about to launch a social media campaign to raise some funding, and there's some other people I'm talking to that make that funding unnecessary. So I'm navigating some waters I never traveled in before. Sorry for the hiccups, guys. But long story short, we're really in a position to where by the end of the summer, I'll have my funding aspect of the business taken care of. And right now, everything is about planning, positioning, and how to present and the relationships that need to be built in order for this to go on to the next level.
Well, we claim it for you, man. We claim it for you.
Yeah, think about this because while you was talking, I also thought about, having like a coming out party where you have, a hall or whatever the case may be, invite a whole lot of people to come and check the product out, have a little bit of food and that kind of stuff, a little bit of music. That sounds pretty good. It's like a coming out event, showing off your product.
Wait, Adrian, I don't know if you want to use coming out, that terminology.
Well,
launch party.
We can showcase it. We can showcase
it. Launch party. That's what I'm looking for. Launch.
A little champagne and some cheese and crackers.
I mean, wrong, but we want to showcase the product.
A launch party, something like that.
Yeah, well, now, Adrian, look, you read my mind because actually, I already have an idea for a launch party. Most likely, it'll have to be 2 because I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, but my business headquarters and most of my networking that I developed is in Atlanta. So that's about 5 hours down the street from us. But we'll probably have a soft launch party here in Jackson with some food, hors d'oeuvres. And I've already figured out the theme for it. It's going to be an old school and a slow jam type situation. I'm talking about some Bear White playing your game.
Oh man, don't go there.
I'm talking
look at John's face.
I'm talking Teddy Pendergrass. I'm talking Teddy Pendergrass. I'm talking Donnie Hathaway. I'm talking Anita Bell. Anita Baker. And
my wife is listening. So I think we're talking road trip. We about to come. We about to come visit. We about to go hang out with you.
Oh yeah. But now that's for Jackson. Because Jackson, Mississippi, I mean, there are less than 180,000 people here in the city. But when we go to the A, I'm gonna have to pay a couple people. And 2 of the main people I would like to have is at least Erykah Badu and New Edition. I think that will be excellent. And they only need to do 3 or 4 songs a piece. That's it. They don't have to work their ass off. Just go up there, sing a couple songs, and just hang out for a few hours.
You know what, Martin? Let me give you a suggestion. Houston, Texas has a large network of people in the arts. They're very supportive. There's this brother named Toby Nwingwe who's connected with Erykah Badu, and she's part of this network of people down there, Jaguar Wright and everything. In Houston's pretty big, and they connect and they show love to one another. If you can connect with one of them, you might be able to invite them, and you ain't got to worry about paying them. Just feed them, of course, and they come down showing love because it's part of the family. It's an initiative to take care of Black money, Black love, Black families, and they're all for it. So,
well, look, that's all good.
Yeah.
Look, Erykah Badu would do it for free. I'll simply drop 5. I'll drop 10 hair dryers off on her, so she can give it to her fans. I drop 10 of those hair dryers, and I'll be like, look, girl, instead of sitting up there being baked like a baked potato, you're gonna get out of there in half the time, and your hair is gonna be popping, and you're gonna look as good and fine and sexy as you are, and it's gonna feel good.
There we go. You're gonna talk that to her. There you go. Kick the bobo. That's what I'm talking about. There you go.
Man, what? Erykah Badu, look, my favorite female, 2 of my favorite female artists is Erykah Badu, Tina Marie, Sade, and I mean Roberta Flack. I mean Anita Baker. I mean Erykah Badu just got that spot.
Scott.
She got that. She got that spot right here, man. Y'all can't. She got that spot.
Okay, well, we're hoping we're gonna send it into the universe. Hopefully, the creator make it happen for you.
You got good choices, man. You got good taste. All of those people I enjoy, but you missed Jill Scott. This is another one of my favorites.
Oh,
my apologies.
My apologies. My apologies. Jill Scott. Jill Scott. Oh my God, that first. Oh my God, and then her on that new commercial.
Yeah, on that
I mean,
commercial, exactly.
look. I mean, everybody got a thing for thick girls, but oh my, she is so. I
Jill
mean, you
Scott.
know, you know where I'm going. I mean, oh my
We already
God.
went there. We know where she's going. She's
I mean,
beautiful in person, man. In concert, I've seen her in concert.
Oh
She's
man.
great.
I
What
saw her in
talent are you
concert.
talking about?
Jill
Oh,
Scott.
I'm saying
I
she
know
has
who you
many
talking about.
steps.
So which one of her talents are you talking about?
Watch out
Oh
The
now.
well,
singing
well,
part.
Never mind. I'm gonna keep
no.
it clean.
Watch
Okay.
No. I saw Jill Scott at the House of Blues in New Orleans way back in the day. And it was wonderful. It was nice. And you
Beautiful
already
voice.
know she can tear the stage up by herself.
Yeah.
But right now, all I need is a glass of warm milk and a pillow.
That's my dog, man. I'm telling you.
let's keep talking it up, man.
Right there, man.
We may be able to do
Moving
Warm
right
milk.
along.
a Southern Love.
Warm milk.
Call it
Warm
a
milk.
Southern Love Festival. Maybe we
He
can set
said
it up a
one milk
Southern
in a
Love
pillow.
Festival in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
There
Hey,
you
let's
go.
call it the Gray Perv session.
There we go. Yeah. Yo, that's funny as hell. That's funny.
Oh man.
Well, man, we wish you nothing but the best, man. We, like you said in the beginning, man. I want you to prosper. I want this to blow
Yeah,
up
no
some.
doubt, man. I want you to blow up like the World Trade.
Well, I
Oh
want
yeah.
you to go.
Oh yeah. But hey, look, let me tell you guys what's going on.
Go ahead,
I
man.
can't get into particulars, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, I mean, look, Adrian and I were talking this weekend. Man, I wish we could have recorded Adrian. All the stuff we talked about. I
Yeah.
mean, we really hit on a lot of points
Mhm.
about knowing who you are and how to
Yeah.
present yourself and
Yeah.
represent your company. And
Mhm.
and as far as like just being real, it doesn't take anything extra for you to do what's genuine that's in your heart.
Correct.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And yeah, and I mean, we want to fall for what at least an hour, right, Adrian?
Yeah, we were on the phone for a while. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
mean,
We want
we were
discussion.
just yeah, and I was getting some advice because see, look, my hair dryer is a consumer model and a professional model, and some folks I'm talking to now I really can't say anything, especially over a public forum like this, that are giving me a little interest. That I'm waiting to see how things turn out, and some
Mhm.
yeah, but the main thing is, I mean, the product sells itself. And here's the other thing that I'm trying to express to them. The right now I have a consumer model made, but when I take that same concept and put it into a salon model, my consumer model, the best performance I got was a 58% reduction in drying time, which
Mm.
I tested with Stephanie Bronner with Bronner Brothers in Atlanta. And the model we use normally takes 2 hours and 10 or 15 minutes to get a hair dry. I got it done in 55 minutes. That's a 58%
That's amazing.
reduction in drying time. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Now, when I take that same concept and put it into a salon model, we're not going to be looking at cutting dry time in half or 58%. We're going to be looking at a full two-third reduction in drying time, which
Wow.
means which means an hour and a half turns to 30 minutes. An hour turns to 20 minutes. And remember, Adrian, I told you, I said, look, I said we might actually be putting everything into a situation to where women can go to the salon for lunch.
Just on right. Lunch hour.
Just
Yeah.
just like men do. Because that's what
Mhm.
we do. A guy, we can go to the if we go to the barbershop, wipe the excess hair off our head, and next thing you know, we back at the desk or wherever we're supposed to be at. But
Mhm.
women don't have that opportunity because the technology that just isn't there. If we can let everyone know that that's a possibility, then I mean the product is already excellent, but the sky's the limit in a big way.
The hair salon, the stylist can make more money because the turnover.
And the thing
Woo!
about this one now that everything is opening back up, a lot of people are looking for a lot of they're very health conscious these days. And that's a good fit. It's a good fit.
Yeah. And a lot of people actually right now, the lady that helped me with my pitch deck and helps me with a lot of marketing, she's a PhD from Jackson State University. Big shout out to the SWAC. Okay. I went to Jackson State University. And she told me that a significant number of people in salons that normally go to salons, a lot of them are more timid as far as going there because of the coronavirus. Just like Adrian, you always telling me that you believe the concept of upflow is good as far as being protective against the coronavirus and things of
Correct.
that nature.
The
You've
upflow.
always
Correct.
every time I talk to Adrian, that's gonna come up in the conversation because he's gonna
Yeah.
make sure I'm on point, I'm on task, and that I'm doing what's best.
Yeah, it's an upflow. The draft everything goes upwards rather than pushing it downwards. Because remember, your nostril is located below. When you have something on your head, it pushes it downwards. You breathe it inwards instead of pulling it outwards and going out, off the top of your head.
And also the heat,
all I know is you're gonna
kills
be
the virus.
All I know is you're gonna be stank, nasty, kind of rich. You're gonna be healthy. It's gonna be my wife's on the side talking about tell him your cosmetologist wife. I'm like, I'm telling the God, I got you.
You know the thing about it too, Martin, because the idea and the concept is not a flash in the pan. It did not happen overnight. It took a long time. You know what I'm saying? It's not a one-hit wonder. With one-hit wonder, it just comes and it disappears. But anything that happens takes time in life to develop, and it sticks around for a long period of time. So basically, you're building stability for a long period of time going down the road. And that's what's happening here. So it's not, your idea is not going to be a flash in the pan. It's going to be around for a long time, and it's going to change the way people dry their hair in the future. Because this is that's the reason why the show, the 2.0 with Mo Delgado, that's what it's about. Everything is reopening right back up, and everybody's getting back out. And people have a lot of money to spend, even though some people don't know that. A lot of the stimulus money is still sticking around. The stimulus money is still around, and they're still getting checks.
There's a lot of sisters out there. A lot of sisters out there can't wait to get their hair done. Yep.
I just read, I saw on the internet also, whereas the Dow Jones Industrial Average actually down 500%. It's way, it goes all the way back to last October. But the thing about it is,
500 points, 500 points, 500 points, not 500%. Oh,
500 points.
500 points.
Yeah, that's a dive.
And it goes all the way back to last October. And that's how far back they could actually remember this. So we're going to be here for a while. And a lot of businesses are restructuring. They're thinking on how to do things much better moving into the future in order to stick around.
Yep.
This is the perfect time and the perfect place for you. This is where you fit in. This is where you fit in, Martin. You fit right in there like a glove.
Right. There's a long-term threat for inflation going on. They're talking about the interest rates staying low because the inflation going on. So you're at a perfect point right now, systemically, to get in the business the way it is and see growth. Nothing but growth because of that. Nothing but growth. Just from the systemic economic level, it's nothing but growth potential.
Changing their way of thinking is what you have to do. Changing that backwards thinking. No more backwards thinking. We have to think ahead. That's where you come in.
Oh yeah, and we're thinking ahead. We're thinking ahead. We're thinking about going.
Literally,
sound like Teddy Pendergrass.
I know. No more back thinking. Time for thinking ahead.
Exactly.
We're thinking ahead. I'm thinking on a road trip. We're about to go to Mississippi. We're about to do a road trip. That's what we're gonna do.
And that's what you position yourself to do, Martin, to have everybody change their frame of mind and the way they think right now.
There we go.
And this is the perfect time with this virus thing.
Yep.
I'm really trying to do that. And Adrian, when I can tell you, the people that I'm looking to get involved with, you'll be like, it's $1 billion for sure. Because actually, Adrian knows this, but there's a smart application to this product that is on the Facebook and Instagram level.
Okay.
And it's in the world of hair and beauty. So you can just imagine being the first to do something in an arena like that and having the notoriety that comes along with it. So look, I mean, I really, honest to God, don't necessarily want to be the image. I believe a woman, a very beautiful black, white, Latino, and Middle Eastern or whatever, those females need to sell this product. I want to be able to. I want to be able to throw on a pair of shorts and a beat up T-shirt and
Yeah.
go to the store when I'm in Florida or LA or Atlanta or whatever and be able to live my life like normal. But I really don't want attention. I believe the hair dryer does it itself, but I want to be able to hop in a a rental car, go to the hood and help somebody out, and they'll be like, "Who the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who was that unmasked stranger?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Well,
Exactly.
you got the blessing from the kings, man. There's no doubt about it. You're
That's
going to
right.
change a lot of people's way of thinking.
That's right.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. I'm so thankful.
You got the blessing
And
from the kings, man.
every day, one thing I try to make sure I do is first of all, I say, thank you, Lord, for your grace and mercy that you gave me this day because it's real. And Lord willing, for the grace and mercy I receive when I wake up tomorrow morning.
That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
the
Amen.
best thing in the world.
And
Amen.
think about it also, Martin, because no one, just by looking at you, the way you present yourself, no one will ever think that you've actually thought up and created a product such as that. And that's what will blow a lot of people away. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? When you
yeah.
come out, like you're looking at a guy in Brooks Brothers suit, is what you're expecting. Then Martin comes out, white guy in Brooks Brothers suit and the whole that, and Martin comes out, they're like, wait a minute, you came up with that, and that's what you're going to have a lot of, people. When R is what they call it, being in R.
That's it, man.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
I just want to say, if you think about it, history wise, like Henry Ford, nobody really knew who he was.
Yeah,
I mean,
Walmart.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, all these entrepreneurs,
yeah, they all came up
yeah,
through humble
yeah.
beginnings. Correct, and that's
Oh
the
yeah.
beautiful thing about it.
There's a potential of you becoming this decade's or this generation's Mansa Musa, the wealthiest man ever in history.
Oh, from Africa. I remember. I
Right.
remember that story. And
Right.
he was. I mean, his wealth was almost on the level of King Solomon,
It's beyond. He was
or
the
beyond. Or it was beyond. Okay, it was beyond.
he
Yep,
doubled,
it
and his,
was.
yep, and his wealth came from being good and doing good for others. That's the
Yeah.
amazing part. Outside of being a conqueror, he was doing good on others and building lives and kingdoms.
I
That's
just found out about that. I know it was cold because I was outside. It was cold. I was smoking a cigarette or whatever. But
mm,
I remember watching that on YouTube, and it had a ranking, and I actually heard about that. I was like, that's cool. That is real cool because they had his ranking above King Solomon,
yep.
and so that is major.
Yeah, not trying to change the subject, but they killed Gaddafi. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I know,
true.
I mean, really, I mean, because
Somebody said they
True
killed
that.
Gaddafi, right?
under his, no, I mean, under his realm, I mean, everybody had everything. People, they had money, they had jobs, they had houses.
He
He made
wanted
sure
to
that
unify
everybody,
Africa. Yeah.
Well, you know what?
African
If I
countries,
go
right?
down,
Mm-hmm.
look, if I go down for a righteous cause, then just let it be. But if not, God said, honor your mother and your father, your days be long upon this earth. And so, look, this Sunday, I'm going to see my father in the
Amen.
nursing home. And my mother right now, she's with my sister in San Antonio. But yeah, I don't care what the world says about the coronavirus, none of that stuff. God's promises are real to me. And
Okay.
I really don't care what your opinion is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes, sir.
well, and we talked about this before. The coronavirus ain't going nowhere.
Right.
So,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
something. Yeah, we got to get used to it, and know how to work around it. And I think that's kind of like what you were saying earlier. Like a lot of these companies and businesses and stuff, they got to learn how to not let them get caught with their pants down like they did, in the past. So you got to
Yeah.
try to, spend a little extra money and put in some extra little protective items or things to do, so that you can protect yourself and your business, because just to say, oh, it's gone and just go back to normal, just like what it was, it ain't gonna work.
No.
Yeah, you
That's
can play all the
pre-pandemic,
offense.
not post-pandemic.
Oh yeah, look, you can play all the offense you want, but that defense is necessary
Oh yeah,
if you're gonna play a real game.
right. What's
Mm-hmm.
that saying in the chess? The best offense is a good defense, or whatever. The best defense is a
Mhm.
good offense, or whatever. Something like that.
Both of them, both of them.
Yeah.
If your offense is good as hell, then you can score a million points. You got to make sure your opponents don't get past 999,999. If your defense can do that and you can score a million points, then you'll win every time.
That's
Yeah.
right.
There you go.
Sometimes you got to play both sides of the field.
Mm-hmm. So that's the game.
Not sometimes. You got to pay all the time.
That's the game.
All the
There you
time.
go. Yeah,
That's the game.
definitely.
You know, I got tons of respect and love. Not I love to see you on your way to ascension, brother. That's all.
Good brother, man. There's no doubt.
You know, we want you to prosper. We want you to best meet the potential there. We want you to be there, man. And we're behind you in every which way.
Yeah.
Your spirit, we try to give you as much love as possible. You know, I told Adrian a couple times, I said, man, let's check on these brothers. Let's check on cuz and find out how you doing. You know, we want to find out how you're doing because we care about you, man. Every success
Oh
that you
yeah.
make, that means that's hope and chances for other people to really look at what you've done and possibly themselves doing following up behind you. You know, so
All
hope
right.
is an exemplary thing when we see it. You know, so I love to
And,
see hope and it
oh
manifest
yeah.
in the community. So I appreciate you, man. I really do.
And not to mention, you got
Oh,
a network up this way. So if you're up in the East Coast this way, just hit us up on the hip. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't nothing,
but
man.
now look, you
Yep.
got to realize that what you're saying is realer than what you think. When I mean, I don't plan on just being in Philadelphia. I plan on coming to Philadelphia to hang out with you guys.
Hey,
Okay, so
Hey,
it's for a reason.
game.
pick
But
and
now
choose.
look, but y'all look, it's a whole lot of anger that can be expressed as far
Right.
as the situation for black folks, whatever. I mean, y'all, I'm sorry, I gotta go off on a political tirade, but
Right.
this BLM stuff, where you find out folks just sitting up getting rich, and then where are the BLM scholarships? Where are the BLM loans to help these black businesses? And it was mostly black businesses burned down. I mean, my wife is from Chicago. Her grandmother stayed off of 37th, 35th Street. I forgot which one. They burned down the Jewel Osco, which is a grocery store, and they tore down the Walgreens. And the people on her floor, they were trying to figure out how they could get their medication because of all this stupid foolishness that went on.
Mhm.
Y'all look. This is four-letter word ridiculous. You know what I
I
mean?
just
Yeah.
I
Because
want to
we
say
felt.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Go
No,
ahead, bro.
we just felt helpless and not able to help her. And she's a very good woman.
Mm-hmm.
84. Let me see. My dad's 86, about to be 87. My dad. Okay, she was 84 years old back then. She just turned 85,
Mm-hmm.
and her sons are not anything to brag on, and they still depend on mama. And I'm looking at her being in a situation like that, and we're too far away to help. But fortunately, my wife's brother's still there, so he helped her out, and they managed to do it. But I'm seeing ridiculous situations that make absolutely no sense, and I just don't. I mean, don't throw my black name in there. Just like hold up, just like the mothers of those children that they raise all these millions and billions worldwide of all these billions of dollars from, and where's the black scholarship? Where is the black loans for business? Where's your involvement in the community other than taking from what people have suffered from?
Mm-hmm.
That's even worse than the oppressor.
Yeah.
I don't even. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even think that Black Lives Matter is a thing. You know what I mean? It's just a phrase that everybody
It's
kicks around.
political.
Yeah, it's just something
They
somebody
gave
kicks
all
around
their
because I
money
mean,
to
basically, Black Lives Matter. They don't. I mean, where's Black Lives Matter headquarters? Where's their local offices? You know, at
well,
you don't
hold up.
you
Hold up. I think I know where it is. It's in one of those $3.2 million worth of houses that the president of Black Lives Matter bought over the last year.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I
That's
don't,
where it
like I
is.
said, everybody talks about Black Lives Matter, but you can't find no local organization. It'll be
Chapter.
separate. Yeah, yeah.
And
So, but
you know what?
if there is a headquarters, I'd like to know where it's at.
Yeah, and it's odd. You know what's strange? Because and if it was ever organized to be an agency type deal, then it became a problem because it was never. It was more so just a spirit of the times. It was
Right.
an
It was.
emphasis about what was in our hearts and what we were crying for. And if someone took an opportunity to make it advantageous to themselves, then shame on them for doing it, and shame on us for thinking that nobody would do it. So it's just
Yeah.
now for us to find out. You know what I mean? We have to call it for what it is. If a situation is in fact that way, then we need to make sure we bring attention to them and make what's right right. If they got all the
Yeah.
funding to do that was intended to help Black Lives to matter, then we need to do is enable, like you said before, these
Because
tools
Black
to help
lives still
Black Lives
matter.
matter, scholarships and different things like this, right? Business loans, small business feeder programs to ensure that Black Lives matter. How do you make Black Lives
Yep.
matter? Economically, educationally, health perspectives, develop
Amen.
all those things. Yep,
Black
absolutely.
lives, and you know what? Black lives still matter, and I don't have to step on a white foot to make my life matter more. My life matter regardless.
Right.
God
Yeah.
sees me, and He made me. He knew me before He framed this world that we live in, and so every life matters. But our Black Lives Matter definitely matter because you know what? The only people that were able to carry the Ark of the Covenant was the tribe of Levi. And all of them wore their hair in locks.
Mm-hmm.
Can't no other race on this earth wear their hair in locks.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus had hair like wool. When you shave a wool, when you clip anybody else's hair, it come across in strands and it falls down singularly.
Mm-hmm.
We're the only ones who have clumps up, and you got to cut everything in order for that big clump of cotton to hit the ground. Okay, I mean he had feet like burnt copper.
Mm-hmm.
Burnt copper is darker than me, so I'll be pretty much high yellow compared to what Jesus looked like, or what Moses looked like, or what the original Hebrews looked like. So I don't care that they slapped this picture up there, white Jesus. You only steal something if it's valuable. Okay, I know where I'm from, and I don't care what the media says.
Okay.
And I don't have to shit on white folks because of
Right.
that. I love them. They're my brothers too. Asians, whatever. If God made you, you're a friend of mine. Okay?
There
But
we
you know
go.
what? I don't have the tribe of Judah was over Israel. Not to say everybody looked like them, but I know that there were people of color. And I don't care what everybody's saying on TV. Jesus didn't have blue eyes or blonde or blonde hair. He
Right.
had hair, and when they did talk about his hair in Revelations, hair
Hair
like
wool.
wool, everybody wanted to say that his hair was white like wool. No, he said hair like wool. It didn't say white like wool.
Mm-mm.
As a matter of fact, Jesus looked more like my brother to
Mm-hmm.
my right on the screen than he did
Mm-hmm.
look like me.
Mm-hmm.
And I accept that, and I love him, and I accept my salvation regardless.
That's right. Dad, you heard that, right? You're looking like
I
Jesus.
heard that.
All right.
And
Okay.
matter of fact, I kind of touched on that earlier. I love everybody,
Exactly.
until
And they give
you
you
do
reason
something.
not to.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Until you do something that ain't cool, then we got a problem.
Right.
But yeah, I love everybody. I don't have any preference. A lot of people think that because I dress the way I do is I'm all about blackness. Well, I'm about my who I am, and I'm not trying
Be
to.
proud of it. You proud
Yeah,
of it.
I'm
I'm
proud
proud
of
of
it.
it too.
So like you said, folks think that if they think about black people, we all just kind of some kind of savage or something. I mean, we walk around with spear chuckers and stuff. That ain't who I am. I do have spears, but
Exactly. Exactly.
Look, Mo
no,
light.
but
Look, Mo light skinned, and he proud of that.
yeah, but but I the only reason why I had the spears is I'm kind of like into weapons. I mean that's you see the samurai sword behind me. So I collect.
Look, I'm from down south. We got a Mac 90, M16, AR-15, and a couple double barrel shotguns that'll make you leave your shoes.
All right.
Mhm.
That's how we
Well,
do it, man.
I didn't want to I didn't want to get into all that, but like I said, I'm into weapons, so
I got a
that
couple
Oh
goes
pistols.
yeah.
from
I got a cooking.
primitive melee weapons all the way up to
I got a
powder
pencil.
burst.
I
Yeah,
got a
He
pencil. I can kill
offensive.
5 guys with a
yeah, I got
pencil.
something for
I'm like
everybody.
John Wick. You know what I'm saying? I can kill
I
3
got
guys with a pencil.
I got a pen. I'll write the hell out you a letter. That's right.
I'm like
And
John
the
Wick.
other
I can
thing is,
kill 3 guys with a pencil.
I just love shooting stuff.
Uh,
So like like I don't know if you heard I got like a bug assault
uh-huh.
Oh yeah, that's nice. I seen that.
weapon, and then I got a
Yeah.
shredder that is like a pistol. You shoot salt, so I just be blasting flies and bugs and everything. So I just love shooting stuff. And then the latest thing is the what they call the non lethal guns. They
Oh
shoot
yeah.
like rubber balls or spikes or whatever.
Pellets and yeah.
Yeah. Well, they don't shoot pellets per se. They shoot like steel balls, rubber balls, and
No,
it's
steel
just
balls. Steel
Hey
balls. I
John,
think that's
I
kind
know
of
one gun
serious.
that you don't have. I know
Uh-oh.
one gun that you don't
I
have.
wasn't talking about me,
A
but
water gun.
Water
A
gun. That's
water
right.
gun.
So I got a big one. I got a big water gun.
Got a big water gun.
well,
Mo got
no,
a water
it's
gun.
not a water gun. It's like it shoots. I don't. I got it right here, but
Uh-oh.
anyway, it shoots projectiles, and it's supposed to be like it shoots like pepper balls. Like the ones the cops use. You shoot the same thing the cops use.
I must say
The riot balls, riot guns, stuff like that.
we better minimize the conversation of guns. It seems like there's somebody behind over there, an officer over there. We don't get them itchy just a bit.
Nah, that's
Flashing lights moving to the beat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
nah.
it's
Look,
all
nah.
legal,
Look,
man. If you can buy it, it's legal. You know what I mean? So,
but nah,
I don't try to, because first of all, I ain't trying to kill nobody, but I mean, it's like I said, I just try to say, hey, okay, well, if I can hit you with a pepper ball or a steel ball, and that'll just back you off of me, then that works. For me to have to go get the powder burner. When I got, like you said, knock you out your shoes. I don't,
Oh yeah. Hey, look.
I don't want to do that.
All you saying is give me 20 feet.
That's it.
Yeah, back off.
Hey,
Give me 20 feet.
whatever it takes to put a little bit of seasoned mama's cooking in there, it's all right. It don't matter. It's all
Yeah,
about
There
and
you
then
go.
the thing with the salt guns, so you can actually shoot bugs and season your food at the same time. So it's wonderful.
Exactly.
All right.
But now this is just mall security. Because I was on my way to grab something for me, for us to get something to eat. They were, obviously they saw me out here. Obviously, I'm very intimidated with my 5'6" ass. I'm very intimidated.
Yeah, I was going to say the skyline has changed considerably since you first got on.
Oh yeah,
Exactly. You're black after 6. You know what I'm saying?
look, I'm King Kong up in this mud. King Kong ain't got
Ain't
nothing
got nothing
on
on you.
Except for more security behind you.
Well, we don't want to take that kind of stuff because unfortunately things like that has happened all over the place. But I definitely appreciate you, Martin. I really do, man. I want you to play safe, man.
All right, man.
But
Hey, look, it's all love, bro. I'm happy to be here.
mhm.
Well, I wish you the best, my brother, in
Man,
all your
God bless
endeavors.
all y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna say, ease on down that road that we call life, and don't take nothing that may, be a heavy load. Just let it go, man, and just do your thing.
You
Hey,
got
look,
this.
I'm a child of the Most High God.
That's right.
What else do you expect? Nothing but the best.
Mhm. That's right.
Well, I think you should
All right.
expect that for yourself.
That's right.
Amen. Amen.
All I'm expecting is an invite to the cookout. That's all. We about to go down. Man. We about to go down. I'm gonna go by Sacramento and pick up my father-in-law, and then me and Adrian we're gonna drive down over to the cookout in Mississippi, right? Or we gonna wait till
you gonna buy to come and get me. You gonna bypass Mississippi.
I know
You
that.
might as well just go. You just have me meet you there.
Look, it's an excuse just for me to travel. It's all right, but
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, see,
I didn't catch that part.
I'm highly upset because Mo obviously wasn't paying attention. I'm bringing the barbecue to your ass, bro.
I'm another one. I'm still doing it.
He said bring the barbecue to your ass. Apparently, it wasn't
It's
for
right.
the
Bro.
It's still coming. It was an excuse. You ain't hear me, brother. It's an
Oh,
excuse
you
to
trying
come
to hit the
back
road?
anyway.
You
We
trying to
coming.
hit the road?
Mo said to make it straight.
We
What
coming
Mo
anyway.
talking about is gonna be part 2. Part 1
Right.
is gonna be there.
Part 2. Okay,
All right.
got you.
Not a problem. We got that. We can cook it up. It's all good.
Oh
It's all
man,
good.
I know. Hey,
Yep.
look, y'all, it's been fun as usual, and I
Yeah.
mean, I really enjoyed myself, and honestly, it feels good to talk to some peers. So,
Okay.
God bless, and y'all, I really appreciate your time. And Mo, I hit you I hit you in a little bit.
You know what's up, cuz? Hook it up, man. We'll be there for you.
All right, Mo,
Hey,
Adrian,
I'm at your
y'all
disposal.
take it
Just
easy.
get at me.
Peace out.
All
That's right.
right now.
Have a
All
great
right.
God
night
bless.
and be safe.
All
Be
right,
blessed.
let's go get some chicken wings and French fries.
Oh,
Oh,
Typical
I gotta cook
Southern
me some
meal.
dinner. That sounds
I
good.
got some
All
gizzards
right,
right now. Some fried gizzards right now. I'm about to tear them up later.
there you go.
I heard
Later.
you talk about them fried gizzards. I remember when I was stopping around Atlantic City way long time ago. We used to have that one place, the joint. You just go get the chicken gizzards and the fries,
Mo,
man.
yeah,
At the
Mo.
party and over at what's the name of that used to be a
Mo's
club
Chicken.
right there. I can't think of the name of
Gotta
it.
be
Right
Mo's
across the
Chicken, the
street.
Zodiac Lounge right next door. Got to be Mo's and the Zodiac Lounge. That to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, the Zodiac Lounge. It was
Oh,
something.
y'all,
There's another one.
I'm so busy listening. I better go. All right, y'all. Appreciate it. Bye.
Right.
All right,
But yeah, it used to be. I can't think of the name of it. I remember they used to have a Mega by the Sea every year.
okay.
Uh, they probably don't do that no more. But they used to have Omega. The Omegas used to just take over Atlantic City.
No, they stopped doing that a long time ago. But they
Okay.
still here. They just. But I think I know what you're talking about because if it wasn't Mo's Chicken and Zodiac, it had to be the it was a bar uptown that the chicken was famous there. That everybody would go and hang out at the bar with music and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I think this place used to be right there in Kentucky. I think it was Kentucky because used to be a club there, and I can't remember the name of it, but it
That'd
used
be
to have they had a dance floor in the middle, and then they had like couches all the way around the dance floor.
Nikki
They
said
had
Kelly's. Nikki said Kelly's.
that could have been it.
Nikki said Kelly's. I'm like, do I know Kelly's? I don't know Kelly. I'm about to say KY and the Curb and the Timbuktu Lounge right around the corner. Club Harlem up the street. You had you had a couple spots up in there. So
No, well, I think matter of factly, I think Nikki, she's still on there. There used to be somebody we knew. Father used to own the club. I think
I don't know.
Reggie and Edge Hills or something like that.
Somebody.
Anyway, it's been a long time ago. We're talking about like in the 70s. So I mean,
Yeah.
it probably been burnt down, exploded, or something by now.
Yeah. She said the Wonder Garden. Okay.
That could be it. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but
KY.
I know there was. Yeah,
Yeah.
but anyway, there was some good times. Some good times.
Yeah, we get
But,
nostalgic. Last week we got real nostalgic for a while, right, Adrian?
Yeah, man. We went until midnight. We're not going to do that tonight, though. It's past
No, not today.
it's past my bedtime. I don't even think I got to keep looking young, man. I'm telling you.
That awesome chicken livers from Kelly's. That's what she's saying. By Duck Austin's Bar. Okay.
Okay. It might have been renamed or something like that since we talking about like I said, late 60s, early 70s.
Probably that. She got a good memory for all that. But like we said, like Adrian said, we can't go into the midnights like we did last week.
Really?
Well, see, it's 7. I guess it was what 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock your time.
Yeah, we're right at the cusp. We're right at the 3-hour mark. We're about 30 seconds short of the 3-hour mark. But I want to give everybody a chance so they can say a few words before we close out. This weekend is going to be a real cool weekend, man. But I hope everybody enjoys himself and have a blessed Father's Day.
Yeah, no doubt. all the fathers out there, and all the uncles.
Yeah, that's right. Because you're an important uncle. That's right. You played
Yeah,
father.
Yeah,
uncles out there.
I tell everybody, it's like, to me, every day is Father's Day. So, I don't, I'm not really big on, special days and holidays and all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I should I should do that,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, because I try to make like every day special for everybody.
Mhm.
But anyway, all I want to say is tell my grandson I said congratulations,
I
and
will.
he needs to give me a call
I will. I'll let him
because
know.
I need to get some information from him. But
Okay.
anyway, uh, other than that, you gentlemen have a wonderful Father's Day.
Okay.
Happy Father's Day.
Father's Day,
Right.
no doubt.
So even if you don't have any children of your own out there,
Every black man got kids. You know what I'm saying?
huh?
Right.
What you say? What you say? Adrian? What
Watch your
did you
health
say?
raise up.
Well, I mean, you can be a father figure and not necessarily have kids. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
so
Uncle like 20 times over. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Right.
So I mean, even if you sitting just spreading some wisdom,
yeah.
that's being a
You
father
know,
figure.
that's so amazing because growing up, a lot of people growing up in the casino, they're like, hey, here goes shoes for the baby, and the first thing I would say, what baby you talking about? You trying to get rid of some kids? You know what I'm saying? They're like, no, you got kids, don't you? Nope. My older brother doesn't have any kids, and I don't have any kids.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you got kids, you just don't know it. No. I mean, what I'm saying is, I'm
take
not,
care
I'm
of
not,
other
I'm not
people's
talking
kids,
about like
you know
that.
what
But
I'm
I
saying?
mean, you have kids out there, people,
Yeah.
somebody's looking up to you. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Oh, I
You
do.
know,
Yeah,
yeah,
20 times
yeah.
over. No
So
doubt.
that's, so you're a father figure,
Yeah.
and then that's what it's all about.
And I
It's
was
not just
thinking
about,
about it because my best
yeah.
friend passed away not long ago, and his daughter,
Yeah.
she
Hmm.
lost her dad, and it's so ironic because it's right before Father's Day, and his birthday comes up, 11th of July. So he passed away right before his birthday, and that's sad, So, a lot of people out there will still remember their dad, moving forward.
Right.
Important, very important. Appreciate your folks.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of, I mean, there are a lot of kids out there that don't necessarily have a father figure. You know what I
Correct.
mean? So somebody was just saying it takes a village, to raise a child. So it's
Exactly
that
right.
it's that concept.
Yeah,
So anytime any kid that needs anything, just some advice or just some
Absolutely.
encouragement or whatever, you got to be.
that's right.
We all should do that.
Yeah,
So that's what I said. Every day is Father's Day. So I don't. If I got to see a kid, they need something, they just look depressed or down. And well, what's up, man? Talk to me. Because
Absolutely.
I've had people that have kids, have a father figure, in the, and they would come to me and say, "Hey, can you talk to my son? Can you talk to my daughter?" Sure. You know.
Yep.
it's
So
important. Especially in this day in life. You have a lot of kids running around here, shooting and all of this type of stuff that's happening.
mhm,
They need more role models. They need people to look up to.
right.
Positive role models. A lot of these kids have graduated from high school. It's so crazy because they graduated from high school in a lot of these colleges during the pandemic. And then a lot of people, a lot of these jobs are not available like they used to be pre-pandemic.
Well,
There's a
the
lot
thing
of
is,
friendships
is that
going on here.
nowadays, celebrities they aren't good role models.
Mhm.
you know, you know,
Celebrities only have to
no,
work
wait a
and look
minute.
why
Now,
they're
Mo
still
got
there.
that look on his face, but I'm saying, like, you look at the kids idolize, they idolize a rap singer or they're a movie star or whatever the situation may be. That's all I'm saying. Then I mean, then I'm saying that I'm not saying that there are not any good role models in those capacities, but you look at the norm. You know what I mean? And everybody want to be shooting up and ganging and
They say, John, some of the best role models are
sexing
found
up
in your
women, and
community.
and that's what I want to do. I want to be like him. So we need to kind of like take it, not to take it away from them, but at least move them to look at something a little more positive. You know what I mean? So
Well, it
that's
depends
all.
the way you look because the best role models are found in your community at times. The
Yeah,
elders. You
but
don't
but
have to
but
look
that's
very
not where
far.
they're looking though.
You don't have to look to Hollywood to find somebody that's really good in the community.
Right.
Well, I remember back in the day, like
most things,
everybody would look up in their neighborhood. They would look up at the pimps and the drug dealers.
Yeah.
As their role models. That's who they want to emulate. So the or imitate. So that's the thing. So it's like we got to kind of take it to another level. And people like myself or we're looked at as wimps or something. I don't want to be like him. He's boring. But
well, education is the key out. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, I tell you what, and I'm a big believer in this. Education is great, but without the wisdom to work it, it's useless. You could have all the book knowledge in the world, but if you ain't putting it into use or practice, you might as well not have any education at all. I mean, that's just me, but but people have a different spin on it. But
That's wisdom within itself, right? There's some wisdom in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got you. I got you. But listen, we're gonna close out for the night so everybody can enjoy the stretch out the best way you possibly can.
All right.
Dad, I'd like to say that it's good to see you, and
it's good to be seen, my son.
That's right. And for the closing of the night, I'd love for you to say a few words for everybody, encouragement, maybe whatever it is in your heart, man. Let them know it.
Well, all I say is just hey, peace and love to everybody, man, to the world, and stay strong and just pay attention. Just keep paying attention, and that to me has always been my. You don't have to believe everything you hear, everything you see. Well, anyway, don't believe everything you hear, but everything you see. Well, you don't even believe that because sometimes you Photoshop. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Photoshop, but just pay attention. That's all I got to say. Pay attention.
Pay attention. Okay. All right. We appreciate you. Dad, if I don't talk to you before Sunday, I wish you the best Father's Day. Please.
Yeah, thank you, son, and back at you. Enjoy yourself.
I intend to.
Bless weekend.
Thank you so much. All right, brother Adrian. What about you, man? Let's close out for the evening. You got something to say?
No doubt, man. Martin was, phenomenal as always, man. I really enjoy having that guy on board any and every time. We have some really good conversation. Very intelligent man. I really like talking to Martin. I like to thank him for gracing us with his presence tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And John also, good conversation rolling, moving forward.
Absolutely.
But like I've always said, the world's not perfect, but we have to try to make it, what we possibly can, and that's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have left us, and due to the pandemic and the whole 9 yards, things are opening back up, like you said, a little bit too soon, but we have to still take care of ourselves and our loved ones. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
And so, on that note, like I always say, be positive and test negative, folks. That's the way we got to do it. This pandemic isn't over. We still got to wear those masks here and there when necessary.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, from my side, I'd just like to say thank you for everybody who's tuned in this evening. We had a wonderful opportunity to speak to some close friends, some people we've gotten closer with. We're talking about opportunities and just our opinions in life because that's what we need to do at times. Sometimes just to let it out, have a good conversation with one another, to show each other that we acknowledge you alive, we respect what your opinion is, and we appreciate you as a person. So it's extremely important that during these times that we pay more attention to one another because we don't know what tomorrow brings. And the sad reality is that too often this pandemic has taken too many of our loved ones away from us. And at any time, someone's fragile life could be taken, and you'd be sitting there thinking, damn, I should have called out, I should have reached them, I should have did this, I should have that. So if you have an opportunity this weekend and any other day to reach out to your loved ones just to say hi, I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And here at the New Norm, as always, we thank you for coming on to the show. Thank you for participating. Thank you for sharing. If there's something you'd like to see on the show, please reach out to us. Extremely important that we stay connected because we are basically a culmination of all the things that all of us think about and talk about all the time. It's just this is the opportunity for you to do it here on the show. The New Norm 2.0 with Mo Delgado is here to be of service to you. And we greatly appreciate everyone's opportunity of spending time with us. And your time is extremely important to us. So we're trying to ensure that it stays where it is. We're looking forward for next week. For this week, it's the cusp of Juneteenth. Reflect on the struggles that were had so Juneteenth can exist. But understand, there's a whole lot more struggle, a whole lot more fighting behind it that we need to focus on to keep it going. We still got a lot more work to do, y'all. But God bless you. And like my man Adrian says, my brother hits it on the nose all the time. Always stay positive, test negative.
Test negative. Enjoy weekend and have yourself happy Father's Day, okay? No doubt.
Take care of yourself. Be blessed, y'all.
No doubt.